You're picking a nice one.
And welcome to another episode of the Average Black Man Show. Today's going to be a fun show today. We're going to just jump right in it with this questionnaire, give women their voices. And we're going to just answer these women a series of questions and get the woman's point of view uninterrupted, uncontested. I got my boy Paul going to be helping moderate this episode. Introduce yourself, Paul, while I get this set up over here in the back chat.
Yo, what's good? What's good? This is asshole number one. Uh, my sisters have been saying that they haven't been given a fair shake with letting their voices being heard and always being over talked. And I agree that I'm even one of them. So this is not the only night, but this is the beginning of, I hope, to open up the dialogue and the floor more often for the women to be heard, whether we agree or put on our panda suits for them. We can at least let them be heard, no matter what our stance is. So that's pretty much all I really have to say on.
Alrighty. So without further, let's go down the line. Let's all the ladies introduce themselves. Starting from the top, let's go over. Denise.
Hello, it's Denise. Most people probably already know me, but yeah, I'm one of those modern traditional women. That's where my stances are. But hey, how you doing?
Alrighty. Now Tiff.
Hello, everyone. It's Tiffany. That's all I have to say.
And the young lioness.
Hey, it's Young Lioness. What's going on, y'all? I'm 24. I'm a little younger than the rest of the ladies, so my standpoint is more for the youth, just giving y'all a little insider on how we really are.
Alrighty. And Lindsay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay. That's all I'm gonna say too.
All right, Alicia.
Hi, everybody. It's Alicia, and those who know me know me.
There you go.
So without further ado, Mr. Paul, let's roll off the first question.
Okay, give me 1 minute. First question, ladies.
Oh, hang on. Miss Peace. Say hello to everyone, Miss Peace.
Hey guys, this is Peace.
Hey, girl.
Peace to the Middle East. Peace to the middle part. Okay. First question. Why can't women handle criticism from men?
That's an actual question,
I didn't think that we couldn't.
right? I do think. Well, women, we probably sometimes get defensive because it's like we said before, we have a hard time being heard. So it's like we think differently, men and women. We probably lean more towards emotional and letting that show. And so when we're saying something, if you could take it at face value the way you would your buddies, your friends, we probably wouldn't have to get so defensive. But when we say it, and then it's like followed by this question, that question, it becomes an interrogation, then you get defensive. You automatically get defensive when somebody starts asking you questions.
Yeah. And we're sensitive, like if you're really harsh with your criticism, then that's going to make me get on the defensive side. Because you won't break my soul.
Me personally, I feel like we can take criticism. I just feel like when we express how we feel about the criticism, like I guess it kind of come off a certain type of way. I guess where people just can't take it. I'm like, but me as a young woman, I feel like I take criticism pretty good. I'm like, I get upset about things. I might be a little debative, but I still listen and I take it into consideration.
Anyone else?
I yield the floor.
Okay. Anyone else?
In regards to why do we take um,
Criticism from men.
um, I guess it depends on what the subject matter is. If it's something I don't care about, I'm not going to be, you know, what I mean, I'm not going to care. You know, if it's something that I'm dead set in, another person's opinion is not going to matter to me. Also, sometimes if we come off as being hypercritical for no reason, it's going to be
Hold on. Ladies, if
Somebody
you're not
mute their
speaking,
mic.
if you're not
If you're not
speaking, mute your
speaking,
mic,
please mute your
please.
mic. Thank you. Did you mute yourself, Paul?
Yeah, I did, but sister, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Alicia.
Go ahead, Alicia.
and it just depends on what the situation is. If it and what you know, with certain things, if I'm dead set on something, I really don't care what somebody else's opinion is on it. Also depends on how that person approaches you. If they're not approaching you in a respectful and or considerate way, it is going to come off as being like an attack, and any normal person is going to go into defense mode behind that. So it's not necessarily what's being said, but sometimes in the tone of how it's being said.
I
If
think
that
I
makes sense.
agree with the overall sentiment that it's delivery. And I do think when men do have a problem with something or they want to criticize something, they don't say it in the moment. They like wait till it builds and builds, and then when it like
Mm-hmm.
reaches that climax, then it's like everything comes out. Well, I know for a lot of people, you know, we don't always respond well to um harsh tones and things like that. There's a way to get your point across without treating us like, I think men don't understand that we're not men. You got to talk to us differently. There's a way you can get through to us that isn't like, the way you will approach a homeboy or something. I think that's where um things get misconstrued, because and then a lot of times I think women are caught off guard. We're not really always aware of how you are feeling. So when you address us in a certain manner, then we're like, wait a minute, hold up, and then that's when things go left.
Right. Like I can even give an example. Say for instance, I just braided my hair. My initial plan was I was gonna do it black and hot pink because I want to. So say for instance he comes to me, you know what? I don't think the pink is a good idea. Why not just leave it all black versus what the fuck you want pink in your hair for? That shit looks dumb. You know what I mean? Now it's like, who the fuck you talking to? Now we got, you know what I mean? It's about the delivery. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
eh, fine. I won't put the pink in this time. I'll give you that, you know. But if you come off on the attack in a way, or I didn't like when you did your hair that color last time or whatever. Just using a blanket example, you know what I mean? Then it's like, well, why you didn't say something last time? And now it's, you know what I mean? Something that's built up that shouldn't have been built up, a little bit of an issue. But I believe that the delivery is very important because it's not necessarily what's being said, but how it's being said. Especially if you're dealing with somebody who you want to see grow, you potentially care about, or whatever the case may be.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Or anybody want to add on?
Um, I think I think that sometimes like learning how to criticize something is also, like they said, the way you say it, because sometimes somebody could be outright complaining or just going off on you and being like, this is criticism. No, you can't take that just because I'm saying something you don't like. You know what I'm saying? So it's a way to do it, and it's some stuff that is not criticism. It's just you being mean. Like,
Okay.
Okay. Give me one
Anybody else
moment.
have anything to say about that question, or is it safe to move on to the next?
Next question.
Yeah, I think that question's good.
Could someone mute the mic with the baby in the background, please? Okay, go ahead, Paul, with the next. Paul, you got to unmute your mic. Paul, you got to unmute yourself if you're going to read the question.
Oh, Paul.
Bro, I was telling y'all my phone is acting up and it's moving slow. It's loading
Paul
slow.
went back to sleep.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah, I'm saying my phone is moving slow. That's I'm sorry, guys. No, all right, here's the second question. Why are men's traumas and experiences dismissed and considered weak?
wait, say that again.
What?
Why are
Why are
men's
I
traumas?
men's
get,
traumas dismissed? I
yeah,
don't think I
like we couldn't
dismiss
pass it
men's
over.
traumas.
I don't think
Dismissed
that.
and considered weak.
I don't
I
know what
don't
that
dismiss
means.
their trauma or consider it weak.
Right, I
For
agree. I
I
don't quite
As a
encourage
matter
understand.
of fact,
therapy.
we keep saying they need therapy, so we're definitely
Yeah,
not
I
dismissing
am a
the trauma.
not at
mm,
all. We
Yeah,
recognize it.
I don't believe that females dismiss it. I feel like men don't really know how to express their
Express
trauma.
it.
Yeah, like they don't really
Mm-hmm.
know how to conversate. If you actually opened up and let a person know what you've been through, then maybe we could work on it, change something in ourselves that we know that's triggering you. You feel me? It's a two-way street. If that's something that we look for when we damaged and we're fucked up. So if my man's messed up and his brain is fucked up and he's been through a lot, like I'm gonna want to know how to help him. I want to know how to fix it or to not trigger him. Like. So I don't think that women do that. I feel like men don't know how to express it.
I can agree. I can agree with that. I mean, I think in some instances, when men don't want to be looked at as being, what you consider quote unquote weak, and opening up makes them feel vulnerable, and they don't
Yeah,
particularly care for that feeling. Um, Maybe something happened with somebody else where that person used it against them, but I can't say that goes for everybody. So if somebody truly cares and really wants to know and is willing to be that ear, and as the man you trust that woman to be that, then I believe the conversation should be had. Everybody needs to have a time to release or to vent in any situation.
yes, I
So
believe that
I've
too.
never been dismissive of. If anything, I'm gonna ask, like, I want to know, tell me. Maybe I have a point of view, you know, that may give a different perspective. So I want to know. I don't want you bottling up things and all of a sudden, boom, there's an explosion, and then everybody looking around like, what the fuck happened? Like, what I do? You know what I mean? So hold on. If you ask somebody that you trust, that's willing to listen and help you through a situation, then that's a good thing to have. But I don't say that most of us are dismissive or look at them as being weak. I think it's actually a great thing to get that shit out. That's me.
I think that they think it's that because they act as a lot of people who will acknowledge their trauma act as though that means that they're allowed to treat you bad and you should accept it because they said they have trauma. And that's not how that works. If you went through a bad experience and everything else, that means that I can understand that you have triggers. But that does not mean that I have to constantly take your bullshit. You also have to go through therapy and go through things and work on that. So it's not a good excuse for you to be a bad person. Now, if that's what they're talking about, then yeah, because we've all said that people should go to therapy. So it's not dismissing it. But a lot of times when you try to use your trauma as a reason for you being rude, evil, mean, controlling, or oppressive, well then that's not a good excuse to do that. You need to go seek help.
I agree.
I think too, it's kind of like a catch-22 because I feel like you want a man to be emotional, but you also want him to have control over his emotions. Like you want him to be emotionally available so that he can relate to you, you feel connected, you feel more connected with each other. I don't really think that's a weakness, or anytime you're in a relationship with someone, these are discussions you have to have because they're going to come up. So if you're the type of woman that dismisses his trauma, his pain, anything that he's ever been through, it's going to show up in every aspect of his life, especially if he's not in therapy, or he hasn't really dealt with it. So, and I also think that society makes men feel like they don't get to have traumas. It's like, oh, it's not masculine if you cry. It's not, you're not a man if you're having a bad day. And also the expectation that,
Lindsay, I'm sorry to cut you off. Miss
yeah.
Barbara, you are in the show. You don't have to back out anymore. You are in the show.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
You made it, girl.
But yeah, basically an important thing too is if you know who you are, you know your issues, and you know how to combat them, then no one can make you well, I don't want to say no one can make you feel, but you can kind of spot the people that are not supportive. I think it's important that men have other men they can talk to and relate to about their traumas and emotions, because we don't deal with things the same way as women. Like women and men don't deal with their traumas and their pain in the same manner. So I know for one, if you don't deal with it, it's definitely going to come out in the relationship somehow. So if there are women that do that, then they're going to pay for it in one way or another, basically. I yield the floor.
I agree a little bit, but I feel like most of the time they always got that homeboy that's not really a good homeboy to be talking to, and that's why they act out and still do all the crappy shit that they do and expect us to just be like, oh, you got trauma. So like, it's easy to say that. That can be a way for them to help out or for certain people to be in their lives, but that's not what's going on. Most of these men actually use their trauma to play games, regardless to being hurt or not. They feel like now it's just fuck women and they just gonna use them for whatever they have.
So,
I hear the floor.
Okay.
Miss Barbara.
You have to unmute yourself, Miss Barbara.
For some reason, she can't get audio for some reason.
She has to go to her she has to go to her settings and allow it.
Yeah. She may have to.
Okay. Let me ask this question. A follow-up. This is from me. A follow-up question to what Monet said. Well, you said that some men, and I'm gonna paraphrase it because I can't quote you exactly, but it seemed that you said that most men recognize their trauma and use it to their advantage. Am I understanding correctly?
I'm like, yeah.
I wouldn't say most men.
Well, the men that hold on. Okay. Let me rephrase it. For the men that recognize they have a trauma, are you saying there are men who recognize it and use it as an advantage point to play a game or to?
No, I said the men that actually have trauma, they express it, they tell you about it. You feel me? They have their breakdowns, but then they go right back after all of that and then do fuck shit to you and then expect you to be like, oh, it's okay. He just got trauma. He probably was triggered. Or, like,
But
yeah,
shouldn't
you
that
just
be
have it.
expected? But shouldn't that be expected of someone who did not or is seeking help? Because it's not an overnight fix where, okay, I talked
I'm
about
like,
it, I saw someone, hold on, I saw someone, I sat on the couch, I talked to him, and now it's done and over. Isn't that a process for a person?
They should
It's
be
gonna
by
take
it,
time.
it
themselves.
is a
They should be
process,
by
but that doesn't
themselves.
mean that I have to sit there and deal with that.
Yeah, they
That
should be
means I can move
alone
on
while they go
and
through
allow
that.
you to get your process together and get yourself together and get your mindset together. And then maybe later on down the line we might work out. But that doesn't mean I have to sit there and be belittled and disrespected just because you have trauma.
Right. So with that being said, and if you women have ever recognized that or been in a relationship where you start recognizing it, wouldn't it be best to say that it's up to the woman to say, hey, I can't do this until you are till you get more healing? Or can a woman help a man heal in a situation like that? I think
She
that's
would have
part of
to
the question.
recognize what he's
I
doing.
think I think
She
there's
would have
both.
to
I think there's both.
recognize that he's being manipulative. She would have to recognize that he's doing all of this, right? And she would have to get out of the situation. The only way you can help somebody heal is if they're already doing it themselves.
Mm.
You can't make them do it. You can't just keep sitting around, going through all of their shit, hoping one day they're going to see the light. They have to say, okay, I know I have this problem. I'm trying to change this.
Well, not only can you not, help, they have to understand not only do they identify that as a trauma, they have to be willing to want to do something about it. If not, then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they
Yeah,
don't
but
If
care that
they're
actually
not willing
change
to
is
seek
going
help,
on, then it makes no
then it's
difference.
not going to work that you wasting your time. You're
Right. If they
wasting
okay,
your
don't
but
see
what?
that they have a problem and want to change it, then what's the point? They're
But
not going to do
that was
Right.
my, but that was my question. Again, I'll just say it one more time. The man realizes he has a problem. Like Monet said, he realizes he has a problem. He has a problem. You talk about it. He says he apologizes, whatever, or whatever the situation. But for some reason, this may come up again. And you all are saying, well, no, he has to recognize it. He recognizes it, but it is not an overnight fix. I'm
Yeah, and
asking.
Right.
he needs to
I'm
be
Yep.
He needs to be
alone.
doing the work
He needs
to
to
fix
be
it.
alone and fixing it alone.
Yes.
Paul, recognizing an issue and actually doing something about it is two
Are
different
two
things.
different things. Two different things.
Well,
So
I
he
think
can
I
say he knows about his trauma and he can explain it to you. He can break down and have his moment and tell you all about it. But
But if he's
okay.
just
not
because
doing the work to
if he's not putting
rectify it,
in an
it's not
effort
nothing's going to
to
change.
actually help himself not have these lash outs and not do this and not do that, then it's not helping you just being there.
Okay,
yeah.
You're
listen
cuddling
to
him
what
at
I.
this point.
Okay, now listen to me again, because again, it's presumed that because I don't think you're actually taking into account what I'm saying for a man who may have been through or going through a trauma in a relationship with a woman who
They
claims she
definitely
wants to be
are.
there for him. Okay, he is working on it, but there is a relapse or a point where this thing may flare up again. And what you guys are
Well,
saying is, oh no, he's not working. Hold on.
can I
What you
say
guys are
something?
saying, hold on. Can I finish, please?
Sure.
No, no, Paul. Let's stay floor. Let's stay
What I'm
floor,
saying,
Paul.
I'm
Right.
being short. I mean, it is a hot seat, so I'm only asking follow up questions or in depth. I'm not trying to challenge anyone. I really want to get them to speak more and yet consider other things that don't sound like that's being acknowledged. That's all.
I
I'm not
agree.
I'm
trying to
like,
be
but
the
we're
one
trying to
guy.
explain
I'm
it to
not.
you like
I
And you're not
heard
letting
you
us.
all. I heard you all,
But you're
sister. That's
not
what I'm.
listening
You're
because they've
not
already
letting us
answered that.
talk. Don't do
Um, I
that. I thought this was the whole point of
Whoa.
yes.
this.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Um, okay, so it really honestly depends on the trauma. Okay. If you're dealing with an addiction or something like that, um, you have to, if you're gonna be with that man, you have to understand that addiction is a disease, and there is a high probability that that person might relapse
Yep.
at some point. You have to
Okay.
consider that because it's realistic. You can't go in and think, oh, he's gonna be clean, and especially if you're not really dedicated to your sobriety and you're not doing the work, then yeah, you're definitely gonna go down the hill. But if it's other things like well, that goes into the other things as well. But if you have like abandonment issues, or if you deal with I don't know, maybe you don't have a good relationship with your mother, there will be times where you may be triggered. But even if you are triggered, over time you have to develop coping mechanisms to help you deal with your triggers. For
Absolutely.
instance, I was in a car accident. So sometimes, I get PTSD. So I have to develop a way to deal with it because I can't freak out every time something happens that's dangerous. So that's the same thing with our traumas. Like it's a beautiful thing to really sit with yourself and know, yes, I have these problems, I have these issues. There's nothing wrong with a woman helping you work through your problems, but it is mainly your responsibility, and you can't always use that as an excuse, especially when you know it's a problem and you know what your triggers are. You need to have a plan. Okay, if you're triggered that day, you need to, I don't know, do something that you enjoy, something that calms you, or maybe that means calling a therapist or a sponsor. Like there has to be a healthy way for you to deal with your problems.
Mm.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear
I'm like,
me?
can I add to that
Yes,
real fast?
yeah, yay.
Hey,
Can I
Miss
add to that
Birdie.
really quick? Can I add to that really
What?
quick and also kind of try to get back to what Paul was saying?
Yes,
So,
yes.
what I was trying to get you to understand, Paul, was that a man could know his triggers. He can explain them. He can tell you all about them. He can go through them. But if he's not actually making any steps or any effort of trying to change, like how she said that you have different coping mechanisms to help you, you feel me? I'm like, if you're not trying, you're like, what is that thing called? The 12-step plan? If you ain't actually even on plan step 1, step 2, and I'm still here 6, 7 months later, a year into it, and you still not on step 1, step 2, I'm wasting my time. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get to. I mean, there's a lot of men that does that. They have the trauma. They really know exactly what's wrong with them. They know they have anger issues. They know they have these triggers that set them off, and they have these lash outs, but they're not actually doing anything to help themselves. They just lash out and feel like people are supposed to accept that because he explained that, yeah, I have these triggers and I have this and I have that. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm like,
Miss Barbara, did you have anything you want to add, ma'am?
Yes, I'll just add on to what the lady said. I think they all are expecting that. And the one
Please speak a little louder
okay, the
or
one
get
thing,
closer.
okay, the one thing with if you're dealing with a piece of like mental illness that's going on and those triggers, sometimes you have to have a mediator to really help navigate that, because a lot of times the spouse or significant other, they won't hear you. Is that in fact sometimes they can get real aggressive towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the reason why we're saying like definitely get into that. Making sure like when you have a trigger, you should know what triggers you. You should know how to deal with you. You should know how to deal with you.
yeah,
And you should be able to give somebody a blueprint for this, that, and the other. If it's like, hey, listen, if I get angry and I want to leave, don't go blocking the door, don't go playing, don't go doing that. Let me
Right.
leave because I have to walk, I have to do this because I know me and I know that this is what I need to do. You
Exactly.
should
Right.
be able to do that.
Right.
And then somebody should be
Okay.
able to follow that
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
and
yes, and
understand
that's
that.
that. Now,
Mm.
don't get me wrong.
Yes.
You do have your females out here that be testing the waters,
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
will definitely egg the
Absolutely.
situation on and will play victim. I'm not gonna sit there and fake on that. You do have your females that will egg that man on,
Oh,
knowing that he's
absolutely.
triggered, knowing that he's already on 10, and knowing what it's gonna lead to, it would still test the waters. Like you have those. You have those pulling it
Yes.
through, trying to drag them back in, blocking the door, acting all crazy, walking behind them, screaming, embarrassing, making them even more mad. You have those. Don't get me wrong. But every woman is not like
Poking the
that. And
bear.
some women, yeah, you feel me? Until that bear turn around and break the stick, you know, like,
if she
yeah.
doing that, that's not the one for you. On to the next.
Yeah, you feel
No,
me?
I
Then you
agree.
move on
I
from
agree. There's some of those, and then and then another aspect. If somebody says, "Okay, boom, hey, I've identified my trauma, I've made peace with the trauma, and I'm fixing my trauma," but they want to constantly have little temper tantrums, eventually that's going to get old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
If you're not progressing and fixing whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. You know what I mean? If you're not showing any progress on trying to correct whatever that
Your
issue is
behaviors,
with
yeah.
yourself, you ain't finna storm out every 2.5 days. Cause I'm gonna just be like, bro, go do what you gotta do. You could just stay out there. Cause I'm not at the same time, it puts me on an emotional roller coaster. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a true statement.
So if I see that after so much time that there's no progress being made, or you're not going to therapy, or you're not following what you set up for yourself to do, at that point a decision needs to be made. I can love you, but I might need to love you from a distance.
Yes, because I gotta protect.
Alicia.
I gotta protect my mental health as well.
Right, that part.
And especially if there's children involved.
Exactly.
So, yep. That'll do it.
I think we covered that.
Mm-hmm. Paul? Are you on mute? Did he go night-night?
Paul, wake up.
Paul, you're gonna have to send those questions over.
Falling asleep.
Yeah, send them to Tim.
Yeah, Paul, you're gonna have to send them questions over.
Paul.
He really fell asleep.
You know what?
We should have just let him talk, y'all.
Let me give him a sec, because if you don't come off, I'm gonna just put him back in the backstage, and I'll pull up the questions because it's in the back. It's in my inbox. Me and Paul was going over.
Oh, okay.
And if I take him out, I can actually, if there's a ninth woman that wants to come in.
Okay, can y'all hear me now? Because I don't know what's going on with my damn phone.
I forgot you said your phone was tripping.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't muted, but my phone. I was trying to talk and y'all kept saying Paul. I'm like, damn, I'm right here.
So you just gonna blame your phone, Paul? Dang, you didn't give the phone.
Damn right, y'all not going. You know what? I ain't got no trauma. That's my phone. You got me fucked up.
I didn't say shit about trauma. I said you gonna blame your phone. I didn't say shit about no trauma.
Put that out there. I'm putting that out there for you, damn it.
Paul, you already told us you had trauma.
Hey Tim, go ahead, man. My phone is like really lagging and shit, so I can't get to it.
I don't remember the order exactly that we said.
Just
remember the first 5 from the first set, right?
Paul,
yeah,
just send him the list or whatever.
He has the list.
I have it.
Oh, okay.
So
he has the list.
We went over trauma. Okay, so the next question would be, let me see.
Hold on, I got one. I got a new one. I got a new question. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. New question. If your man told you he was uncomfortable with you with something, dress, actions, behavior, whatever, would you change?
I'm like, should we go in order or how was this going?
Somebody who wants to grab the floor first.
Okay, say that again, Paul.
If your man was uncomfortable or became uncomfortable with your dress style, behavior, or what have you, would you, and ask you to change, would you be willing to make the change?
Are we talking a boyfriend sense or husband?
Your mate is the question. Now you take that any way you want. Answer that for any way you feel.
It
To
would
me, it depends
depend
on
on
it
what
depends
it
on the
is.
respect. It depends on the respect factor, or like, you know what I'm saying. If I think it's going, if I think you're doing it out of like respecting, or are you doing it for control?
Since
And
Denise
I
started
think
first,
that
we should just go in order.
yeah, okay, yeah, I think that that's the I think that would just be the biggest thing. If it's just a regular because you went from being single to being in a relationship and these are just normal changes that you make, then that's fine. But if it's just, just to be controlling, no, now that you're with me, you got to wear this, and this. I would not do that. I'm not going to just change who I am for you, but I can make adjustments out of respect for our relationship.
Okay.
Tiff,
Yeah, it would just for me. It would depend on what exactly it is. Like, is it something that you want? I don't know. Come back to me. Let me think.
well, me personally, if it's from a husband perspective, then of course I'm going to change that because we're married. Like at the end of the day, we're an example of each other. I'm like, but like boyfriend status, it kind of depends on the respect level that we have in our relationship. Because if you ain't changing shit for me, I ain't changing shit. It just is what it is. Like, but yeah, that's it. That's all I got to
Period, Pooh.
say. I yield the floor, Miss Barbara.
I agree with Denise, because if it's out of trying to control, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I
That
can
would be
respect.
if he's trying to control me and or tell me you can
Yeah.
wear this but you can't wear that. No, we'll have a serious issue.
I can respect that. Jazz.
Oh goodness. I think for me, I think I would have to say that it's a very vague question. And I would actually really get to the root and the crux of why this person is uncomfortable. Because for me, that's like, that's a very vague, and uncomfortable is a very interesting word to use because I don't know what the discomfort is coming from. Is a discomfort coming from because you feel embarrassed and you feel and you have an expectation that you haven't communicated to your partner of this particular person in a relationship, and you haven't actually said very upfront in terms of like your expectation of that person, and so you're saying I want you to change this because I expect the people that I'm involved with to look and be a certain way. Is it a preference? And is it a preference as a result of trauma? Is it a preference as a result of just general experience? Or like, it's a very vague question for me.
That's a good response, Jessica.
I'm sorry, what?
So that's a great response you just gave.
Because it's just like, I mean, that's like, to me, it's just like, what's the source of this discomfort? Is it because you're uncomfortable because my appearance or my behavior is triggering particular feelings that you don't want to deal with? Or is it because it's uncomfortable because you have like, it's called covert contracts, when you have like expectations of things, but you actually never really communicate those expectations?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, it just really depends.
Okay.
Okay, well, peace.
I would say okay, let me think. If I'm dating someone now, it would be someone that I see as a husband. So I wouldn't have an issue changing within reason. So yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would like to speak on that. If if it's not something that compromises who I am or who that woman is, if you meet her a certain way and she's still the same person, I don't think asking her to change her behaviors is fair, because
Right, that's not
you
appropriate.
pretty much signed up for that when you got with that person. But I mean, there's
Yes, I
certain things
agree.
like I don't think is really a big deal. Like if you're gonna walk around with your ass cheeks out, like when you're with someone, I don't think that's appropriate. But there's certain other things, like I think women shouldn't compromise who they are at the core, who they are, because you give up so much in a relationship. So I don't think if it's anything out of, you know, creating boundaries, like healthy boundaries. Like, of course, if you're in a relationship with someone, you're not gonna go out and just like act single, you know. But yeah, I definitely think I did agree with some of what Jessica was saying about why does this make you feel uncomfortable, kind of exploring those feelings. Because I think that will help you understand if this is control or if it is like a legitimate like boundary.
Okay. All right. Um, Here's the next question.
Alicia,
Now.
wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's like I said, I agree with what has been stated about. I mean, if you met me a certain way, yeah, of course, with age and whatever, people can change. But it's gonna depend on what is your issue with what I'm particularly doing if I've always done it. And if you came into this relationship per se with the intention on changing me, we're gonna have a problem. So it's not that I like speak on a personal level, which is what we were told to do. I I'm not really that out there like that anyway. So if I'm pretty much an open book, so you kind of know exactly what you're stepping into, then what's all of a sudden why? And then we could have a reasonable conversation about it. But would I change? It's going to probably depend on the why. Most likely, probably not. But again, it would depend on what the why is and what the actual situation is. It's kind of too general to really give a definitive answer.
Okay. All right. I have two more, and then I'm gonna pass it to Timotheus to ask the questions that he has. Um, how important is sex to women? Not what men want, not what men say they require. This is about women and their ideals about sex and its importance.
It's very
Janice?
important.
Talk about everything from size, how often you want it, how often you don't want it, whatever. This is about women's views on it, not what women think men want or how men view sex. I'm asking you women about your views on sex.
Okay, are we going in order again, or are we just?
Of course, it's a free
I was
for
about to
all.
say
Y'all
go the
just
opposite way. If that's
yeah.
okay.
You want
Okay,
what is
well,
Go
it?
ahead,
Alicia.
Alicia.
I think it's very important. Um, I'm somebody personally who enjoys it, and I like it all the time if I'm allowed.
Okay, girl.
So
What'd
it's
you
in,
say?
huh?
You like it where?
Huh? I
You
said,
like it where?
I said all the time if I'm allowed. I said all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something. I'm not gonna go there.
What do you think I said? I'm curious
I thought
now.
you said you like it
Okay.
on my mouth or something. I'm like, what?
Pause.
Okay.
Let's not get
I'm
distracted.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I
Go
look.
ahead.
I asked. It's okay. I asked, so I'm okay with his answer. There. I
That's what
asked
I thought
that.
she said. What's the problem?
So I like it all the time. I want all the time because in a relationship, it's not just about. It's there's you have to spend time in different ways with each other. So it's not just about okay, we go out hang out or go eat or do this or that. But you have to have some time for the intimate part of it. Which also there's also different levels of that also. So there's that. But I like it all the time. And yeah, certain factors are important also. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think sex is important in any relationship. Because it helps build connection and it's also pleasurable and it's a stress reliever. Um I think men need to spend a little bit more time kind of understanding what is pleasurable for their partner. And a lot of people don't even really talk about what they like and what they don't like. I think communication is very important when it comes to sex. A lot of people think they're just going to get together and it's going to be amazing and wonderful all the time. And especially the longer you're together, the more you're going to need to spice things up, whatever that means for you guys. So I think it's kind of funny when men think that women don't think sex is important. I don't know why that is, but women are just as sexual as men are. And I think it's something that every couple needs to really build a strong foundation on because, like I said, it helps build connection. And I'm going to pass it over to Jessica.
Okay. So I think that sex is actually very much like other things. There's a spectrum. And so because women are people and women are individuals, you're not going to get exactly the same responses. So that being said, it's important, but how that is actually addressed in the relationship varies between women. I have to echo what Lindsay is saying about the importance of communication, the importance of discussing experiences and history and things like that, because this is a factor when it comes to also trauma as well, because people have their own sorts of like history in regards to sex, and it informs their relationship to sex and also their ability to be actually sexually free with their partners. So I think that's very important. And so I also believe that essentially you have to really do a lot of empathic listening, meaning listening to understand and not listening to think it's like a magical formula, because it's not. And so I just feel like it's important, but the way it's important is going to be different for each person.
Okay, Barbara.
Oh, okay. I'm from a older perspective though. There comes a time in your life where one partner is not going to be able to perform anymore. And,
Yep.
Usually it is the man that would have more problems with it because they get embarrassed if they're not able to get an erection. But there are still ways to work around that. But you have to, as a woman, you have to make them feel comfortable, show them, there are other ways, and regain their confidence, because it's really embarrassing for a man. Even though they want to, they just don't have the ability to. But that there are other ways to get around that, and I think it's important where couples or what have you would have to have open communication with each other.
Okay, peace.
I'm sorry, what is the question?
How important is sex to women from a woman's perspective, not based on what men think, not what men say, but for women from a woman's perspective? How important is sex?
Yeah. I don't. That's weird. I just think everybody has their own levels of what's important to them. So to me, it would be 8 out of 10. I really don't have much
8
on
out
that.
of 10 times a week, 8 out of 10 times a day. What are you talking about?
The importance of it in the relationship.
8 out of 10. Okay. Okay,
Well,
so
are you?
No,
That's
I
all.
don't think she doesn't mean 8 times a week.
yeah, she mean like an 8 out of 10 on the importance.
Doesn't have
Well,
to
I'm
be,
trying to understand.
Right.
Paul
How,
just
as a
trying to be
man, I didn't
nasty.
understand it.
Paul. She doesn't have to go into detail and be personal. Just
Right.
if that's how
Bro,
she
let me. Why can't I harass the ladies, man? There you go with that shit.
That's what we're doing to get on. We're coming against that.
This is the
the
platform
time
you
to go
came
Well, I
up with.
Yeah,
didn't
but
hear.
y'all know I'm gonna still fucking come and say some other shit, man. Stop
I
acting
didn't
new.
hear
God
him.
damn.
Okay, so we can't say, like, come on.
What did you say, Paul?
We had Young Linus. Oh, he was
Okay,
asking you
well,
to expound.
me personally, I'm a nympho, okay? Like, I feel like I'm a nympho.
Was Pete still talking?
I need mine
Oh,
all the
I
whoa,
was,
whoa,
but
yes,
it's
sir.
all right.
What?
Okay.
Peace was still
Oh,
talking.
was she still talking?
Yeah.
No, I thought
Yes,
Paul was saying something, so I was trying to answer him, but it seems like he's not. So next, it's
He just
Paul.
wanted you
Oh,
to go into a little more detail. That's all.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, did you have
So if you
anything you
want
wanted
to
to add
go
on
in,
before I
if you
started?
want to add on, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, me personally, I feel like I'm a nympho. Like, sex is very important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very, like, I love a enticing type of relationship. Like, I love to like have different spur of the moments and shit like that. Like, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sex is very important. Don't get me wrong, I love an intimate touch. I love to cuddle. I love rub down, you know what I'm saying, massage and shit like that. You know, just us embracing each other, just sitting there holding each other and shit like that. I like that shit too, but I need to get to the nitty gritty, okay? Like, I'm trying to, you know? So yeah, very important over here, baby. But go ahead, Tip.
Yeah, for me, sex is very, very important. I have a very high sex drive, so I ain't gonna say I'm no nympho. Maybe back in my early 20s I was, but
Yeah, okay, big
yeah,
24 girl, you know nympho shit.
yeah,
Real, you know?
I like to get it in when I can get it in, and that's often.
I'm trying to squeeze time in. You feel me?
Yes. And if we're not having sex, then that's a problem.
Bitch could be an old lady.
And we need
Facts.
to we need to talk about whatever this problem may be, whatever. We gotta talk about it, cause yeah. I
You know?
gotta get mine.
Usually, if you
Okay.
ain't doing it, that means somebody getting it somewhere else.
Well,
You
and
hear me?
I don't like to jump to that conclusion either, because it could be a number of things. It could be stress.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it could be something medically. It's not just older men that have erectile
Boy, be talking about
dysfunction.
these blue pills. Honey,
What?
shit.
Girl, you break it up real bad.
Young Wine is your
You
connection.
break it up real
bad.
You just cut me
Oh, can y'all
off.
hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, you just cut me off.
Wait, let her talk, Mar.
Like, it's not just older men that have issues in that area as it pertains to erection. So it could be something medical, but whatever it is, we gonna have to figure it the fuck out. If you
I
can't
agree.
use your dick, if you can't use your dick, you better get that mouth ready.
Oh my God, you nasty. Ooh.
Period.
Now look,
Hold on.
Paul, we was concerned that the men was gonna ask these kind of questions, and we filtered them out. And they gonna hear just being,
Right, they just went right into it, right?
You better lay there
talking
and
like
let me.
sailors.
You better lay there and let me sit on your face, nigga. Since if your dick's
Oh
not
my
working.
Jesus,
Something's
Lord have
gonna have to
mercy.
give.
Okay, I
Because you
see
got
what's
me
going
Period.
fucked
on
up.
Period.
Oh my God.
Period.
Especially
Jesus.
Chip, for real.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially if be these dudes out here that be wanting to pop pills and shit. Now your dick ain't getting hard.
Yeah, oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
Jesus be a
Got
no.
me messed
chastity
up.
belt. Jesus be
You
a
about to
chastity
play with me
belt.
like that?
Hold on,
We not
Denise,
doing
did you
that.
want to hold on? Yeah, I'm about to get egg triple X.
I
Denise,
think I think being sexual is very important. Like the sex itself can be worked out in many different ways because even if you're not like the best, there's so many toys and contraptions and all kinds of shit
Yes.
to help out
Okay.
Yes,
with sex.
Denise. Yes. Yes,
So it's
ma'am.
like
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes.
think being sexual is super important, even more than the sex. You got to keep that between you guys and keep that fire going. So I think it's
Yes,
definitely
that
important. You
intimacy.
can't just not go, not just go without the sex, but it has to be like quality, like some good stuff, and y'all need to work on making the
You said
chemistry,
some good stuff.
last.
That
Yeah.
fire and desire.
You hear me?
So
Okay,
Right.
great. Shit.
Yeah, I think
okay.
Denise, the reality is that sex starts before you actually get inside of the bedroom or wherever you're gonna do it. So, foreplay is very important, and that could be
Absolutely.
sexting, that could be, just whatever
right, that's
little.
what I'm saying. Like you
Yeah,
don't need
like
to
you
be
gotta make her
sexual.
want you.
Like
You got
sexual is the biggest.
right,
It's really huge.
right.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I
Yeah,
can
I
agree with
agree.
you, but the sexting part nowadays, baby, you can't be trusting these niggas. They put your news on there, girl.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
Talking,
saying
not
what I'm
pictures.
saying is like
Talking.
be
I
creative.
ain't
Be
sexting
creative
nobody.
in
You better come see it
your
in person.
approach. Be
No,
But I
we're
creative in your
talking
understand
about
there's
like
approach.
always other ways. I understand what you mean though, but just the sexting part, I can't fool
Well,
around.
I was just
no
using that as an
sexting is not.
example.
That's
That's
not sending
not.
pictures. That's
Yeah, that's not.
like
I'm like,
writing out
but
a
that's the
sex scene
definition of sexting, yo.
and sending it to them. No, it's
No,
not.
Nigga,
that's just
freaky
dirty
sex.
little
Sexting is when you're
text.
talking about
No,
Like,
that's you
sex,
can be. You
and
can.
text is not sending pictures.
y'all know
No,
I
I
I'm
can
not
mean,
Google
talking
you
about
shit. You can
can
pictures.
Google
you
sexting.
can
The
send
definition of
pictures,
sexting
but
is
you don't
for
have to.
photos.
You can send pictures, but you don't have to
No, it's just
necessarily.
explicit sex. It's explicit sex talk through text.
Sensual
Okay, we can wrap
seduction.
this up.
I mean,
Oh,
I look. I'll just say I've never been into like the whole texting thing. That
I use that
that.
as an example, ladies. Just
No,
an
no, I know. I'm just
example.
saying in
Yeah.
general. Like everybody got their thing. That's just one that kind of went over my head, But I get with the whole intimacy thing. Like maybe I want to be annoying. Like you come in, I'm gonna go put my head under your shirt and just stand there and smell you.
Right.
that's
I'm gonna just be.
good.
Maybe I want to be annoying. You know what I mean? I mean,
For
and
real, he
yeah, of
playing the
course it
game, just
starts
gonna sit on his
early.
lap. You know.
You know what I'm saying? It starts from, the foreplay, the picking on each other, all all that's great. I'm trying to be like the old 99-cent store commercial or from 9 to 9, 9 days a week. That's how much I want it. Now, so what's up?
Okay.
Okay then, bro.
Okay. All right.
Next
I have one
question.
more question. Okay. Final question from me, and then I'll pass it over to Timothy. All right.
Okay.
Why are men expected to read body language as opposed to a woman just saying what's on her mind? Because I guess the guy is saying that oftentimes women like to give hints and body cues and this, that, and the third without actually saying anything. Why
I
not
believe we get the
just
question.
say?
Yeah, they want to walk past the TV and be like,
Oh no, baby. I ain't never been that type. No, I might see what you mean, like on the attitude side, like if I'm not feeling well or something, I shut down, like I get quiet, something like that. Yeah, I want you to figure out what's going on, like, because I don't feel like talking right now. Like, you should know that I'm not like this. You should know that I'm more outgoing and loud and irritating and running around like a little kid sometimes when I'm sober. So if I'm just sitting there quiet, you should see it's something wrong.
Right, but the question is, why should he have to play the guessing game as opposed to you just saying what's wrong?
As opposed to communicating.
I just
Or
said
what it
because
is
I
you want.
might not want to talk at that moment, but that doesn't mean I don't want you to care or be concerned about me.
I
Yeah,
don't
what
know if
she
it
just
necessarily
said is
means a
toxic.
guessing game. I
I
don't
don't
think it's
know
just a
what
It's
that
not
guessing game.
is.
If you know who
Because
you're
you're
with, you
not
can kind of get it.
communicating.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, if you know your mate, then you know, like, okay, usually
Right.
you're outgoing, you're always walking around, or you're talking to me or something. You know, we're
Yeah, but
entertaining each other.
his
But
question
then if
is,
you're just in the
why are you
room,
doing that instead of just saying it? Why are you doing that?
I'm saying that that's just how I feel. I feel like that you should just do that. Like, you should be concerned. If you notice that your mate is not acting the same way, you should just be concerned. Like, I just feel like you should be. It's not a guessing game to me. I just feel like you should show us that you're concerned. Like, what's wrong, babe? You quiet, like, or what's wrong? You hungry? You irritated? Like, you cramping? What's
So
wrong? Like,
basically,
I
it's
feel
a
like,
cry for attention.
I guess so. Yeah, like, fuck, show me
That's
some
what
attention.
he's
You probably
saying.
trying to
Why are
come
you doing
to
that? It's a cry. It's a cry for attention.
but you probably ain't spoke to me and gave me no hug or nothing all day, bitch. Yeah, cry for attention. Then it is what it is.
I
You
mean,
gonna
I'll
be
say this,
concerned?
like it
That's
with
what it
me
is. No, I'm
because
saying it may not be a bad thing, but that's just what it is. It's
Yeah, I'm
there. She's
agreeing.
trying to get your
it's not a bad
attention.
thing. I
She's
mean, I
trying to
know with
get your
me, like
attention by
sometimes
moping.
my mind might be on 50 different things, so I'll be quiet, like I'm more quiet than normal. So then, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. You know what I mean? But my mind is in 50 different places. I just can't necessarily vocalize what exactly, you know what I mean? Because I'm already, today might be, Thursday, but my mind is already on Saturday or on Sunday. Like, well, shit, I got to get this done and do this and do that. And I'm not mad about anything. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just processing shit. So if you just ask me, I'll be like, oh, if I say, oh, I'm good, then I'm good. But if I say, you know what, this is da-da-da, I'm going to tell you. I'm not the type to sit here and just
Okay,
like
let me
fuck
let
around
me
and play with
let
you.
me
I'm going
read
to tell you what it
let
is.
me
So.
read the question again. Okay. Why are men expected to read your body language? It's not about him asking why. Basically, he's saying, why aren't you just using your words to tell the man what it is you want or what a problem might be?
I think it might be
That's what he's
passed
asking.
down. I think it might be passed down. If you look at traditional relationships, the woman would not necessarily be so vocal, so forward, so everything else. She kind of had to passively show that there was something wrong. It was something, she wouldn't just say it. And it would do that. And then it kind of grows into that because we're girls. You know what I'm saying? And so we're used to kind of getting that, you get to an emotional stage, you kind of want to be alone, but at the same time, you don't. And you really want for the one person in the world who knows you the best to see that and be like, okay, this is what's wrong with, or see something's wrong and just kind of just react to you and let you know that they see that something's wrong.
Yeah,
not
show some
necessarily because they
concern.
may not have to do anything for it, but just realize it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know us. That's actually like a love language now. A note just for somebody to know you in that way, to where I don't really have to say it. I don't have to do anything. He sees it and he's gonna just react. He may not fix it, but he's at least gonna acknowledge that I'm in a messed up mood.
And he sees it. I can agree with that. That's pretty much what I was trying to say. I probably was saying it the wrong way, but that's pretty much what I was trying to say.
It just depends on how you know your mate.
If you want the attention, so
I
It's
think
how
I
you
want
know
you
your
to
person.
see me and know me.
Right. How you know your person. If you know that they act a certain way, or you can, if you're really connected to who you're with, you can look in their face and see if something is not right.
Right.
Because you know that
you
you
hear
know
their
your
voice.
person.
You
Yeah, or
hear
their voice, or
on the
their
phone, and
demeanor,
it's
or
like, what's
whatever.
going on?
Yeah, you can tell.
Right.
So
How they wake
in that,
up,
it's
how they
not
walking around, just them.
So maybe it's, I mean, maybe that is a form of the body language. Okay. But it's not necessarily about guessing, but it's just like, okay, I see something is up, but that can mean anything. So just ask the question. It's not about guessing what it is, because you might guess wrong and piss somebody off. Just ask the question.
Right.
Well, answering your question, Paul, I feel like that's just something that should be done. Like, guess, like, see what's going on, show some consideration. I'm like, it might be harsh to say that, but I feel like that's just what it is. Like, you should.
Yeah, because we do that
have
with
some
our
type of
man.
consideration with your
If
partner.
our
I want to
man is
interject real
stressed,
quick.
we try to do that.
I don't think that a man should have to hear that and be like, well, what's wrong with you, baby? You know, she should be able to
I ain't
just
never did no
be able
but
to just
okay.
come down and be like, look, something's bothering me, and I want to talk to you about it and get your opinion, and see how
That
you
is
feel and
true.
help me through it, whatever and whatnot.
Every female doesn't have that type of ability
Well,
when they're in that
that kind of
emotional
comes
state.
with the maturity of your relationship too, like how
Yeah.
that goes.
I think it
Because
depends
I
on the
mean,
woman.
because
And
the
the
men do it
maturity
as
of the
well.
person.
Because you can't say like men don't do that. Men won't tell you that they're stressed, that they had a bad day, that somebody
None of
spilled
that.
coffee on them. They won't say it, but you're gonna see it. You're gonna see that they're stressed. You're gonna see something's wrong. You're gonna hear those short answers, and you're gonna try to, you may not even ask them because it might set them off, but you're going to start, you may walk on eggshells a little bit or try to make things a little easier or take a little bit of their BS because you see that they're stressed. But they haven't told you that they're stressed.
But you
Right.
don't see how that could be. Well, no, this is y'all floor. Let me
It's
shut
kind
up.
of back and forth. I feel like we don't think about it. Like when we see our man is stressed out, like we kind of just figure out a way to help him. If we can't help him, then we just let him go. The best that we can to, make sure he don't go off the railings or whatever. But I'm like, females don't really think about it. Stressed out or you go through
Yeah.
something.
Hold on.
You going in and
Okay.
out.
Let's give the other ladies a chance to respond because I want it to be fair. That either they can answer or say they don't want to or they agree or whatever. But let's see what any of the other ladies have to say.
I have a question.
Okay. Give me one moment, ma'am. Who was that said they had a question?
Jessica.
Okay, Jessica. Before you answer, I'll ask you a question. Would you, Peace, Miss Barbara, or Tiffany like to give a response to the question?
Yes, because the reason why I'm asking, the reason why, and my question is actually in response to that question because
Okay.
you're saying a lot of things about why are men expected. And so for me, as someone that likes to look at an argument and look at the undercurrent of an argument, I'm asking who told men that was an expectation that women had of them.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay. Good
That's
question.
Something we want, but we ain't
That's
never said it was
good.
expectation.
That was perfect.
That's fair. This was a question asked by one of the guys.
Okay.
These are not questions I made up.
Right.
These are the questions I asked other men to send to me to ask the women.
Right.
The only thing that I made up was about sex. That was the only one that came out of me.
Of
Right.
course
knew
it
it.
was. Of course.
Right. I knew it.
Everything
Of
else
course.
was
That's
the
why he
other
wanted
guy.
us to get so much into the detail of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. But I just wanted to hear what the other women had to say about the last question I asked, and then Timothy can ask the questions that he has either been sent or asked himself. I don't know. I don't think it really matters, but these are other questions that Timothy may have.
Well,
I
So
want to
Peace,
go
Miss
after
Barbara,
Peace
Tiffany,
too.
do y'all want to add anything?
Hold on. If you all are done answering what I asked, I'll pass it over to Tim.
No, I
No,
wanted
there's
to
still answer.
I wanted to
A couple people still
I
wanted to
wanted to
talk.
say something about that.
Okay.
That's not really an expectation. I know for me, like if I want something, I might hint at it. I might be like, "Oh, my back hurt," or whatever. But I'm not going to expect you to do anything about it, or ask me a question. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me, great. Or if it really hurts and I want you to rub it, I'm gonna say, "Can you rub my back?" or whatever. But I don't really think that's an expectation, and I really don't think it's I want to say the maturity of the relationship. I think that's mostly teenage stuff. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, everybody has
It
their
is.
way of communicating their needs, and maybe if you are the woman that pouts or goes, you're probably a woman that you probably don't feel heard in your relationship, or maybe you don't feel you can communicate what you need in
Good
your
point.
relationship.
Valid,
So,
valid.
you might resort to those passive ways of kind of hitting at what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Good
That was a
point.
good. That was good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
that was very valid. You said that, girl.
Thank you.
I agree with it all.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm just like, is it attention? I figured it was an attention thing. When I was younger,
Yeah,
I did it. Right now, I'm gonna walk up to you and tell you because
yeah, tell you
I'm gonna
exactly.
charge you with knowing. I
Yeah,
told
but
you
when
what
we're
was
kids,
wrong
we
and you did
learn how
nothing.
to communicate our needs. Like when you're a child, you learn how to communicate your needs. So maybe when you were a child, the only way you got attention is if you did pout or
Pout.
throw a
Yeah,
tantrum
that makes
or
sense.
shut down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, as a woman, the older you get, you have to learn like, okay, this is not really effective communication because I don't expect any man to read my mind. And if
Right.
you have that expectation, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yep.
Bad. Bing bong. Yep.
Who was that? Who was that?
That was Lindsay.
Lindsay. I still don't like you, but thank you. No, I'm just kidding. That was a good answer. That was
Oh,
a good answer. That was a good. Thank you, Mama. Anybody else?
No, Lindsay said it all.
Okay.
Well, Lindsay. Well,
Timothy.
actually, I agree with Lindsay. Like in psych class in psychology, they say adults have a hard time communicating because they muddy the waters with all the stuff that they know, right? And children, since they only have limited words, they're able to communicate kind of like forcefully. Like they can tell you, I'm scared, I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're an adult, you want to be like, well, I don't know, I kind of feel, well, I don't want to say, well, because of this and that, because of this and this and that. And instead of just going back to your, like, your childhood communication and saying, you know what, I don't like this, I'm angry, I'm stressed, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were like that as a child, you probably would find passive ways or even passive aggressive ways of communication instead of just being straightforward and just saying it. It's hard to just say it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
that's
that
interesting.
ends my
Go
line
ahead,
of questioning.
Timotheus.
Tim,
Don't
it's
kill
on
us,
you.
Timotheus.
Oh boy.
Oh Lord.
Before we move on,
Gee.
Paul, did you get some answers that you liked? I mean, did you appreciate the
Actually,
answers, Mr. Paul?
actually, again, these weren't my questions. These were questions the guys asked. That last one Lindsay gave, I really want to give her, and for me personally, that was the most responsible or account that was the most profound example of accountability for being for communicating and giving an answer to that question that's been asked. I don't know, I might be losing you guys a little bit, but I've heard that question asked before, and I've heard some of the others. I've heard some of the other responses many times, but what Lindsay said was very profound to me. It speaks out, and I appreciate her for saying that, not, and I'll even go, I'll pull a Timothy. It's not just women, but men as well
Yep.
need to start speaking and not trying to throw hints at what a problem is, or I want sex, or I want you to clean up, and I want my, you know what I mean? I think it's using our words is very important. That's key. So that's all I really have to say on that.
Thanks, Paul. I
Okay.
appreciate
Yeah.
Love
that.
it.
yeah.
I
Good
love
job,
it.
Lindsay.
Love it.
Good
Love it.
job.
Love it.
All right,
Y'all
Tim.
ready for the gloves to come off?
You said the gloves to come off. Come on, let's go. What's up?
That's right.
Black, he about to black y'all eyeballs.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Timothy is no one smoke.
Now, about to hit y'all with an easy one first. I gotta throw a jab first. You can't just come out swinging. What is?
Isn't a jab a swing?
No, it's a swing.
A dick.
It's a jab. It's the love tap. All right, let me get a fluff one out real quick. What does it pick me? Define the pick me.
I don't know.
Someone
I didn't know these.
I
I
don't know what
didn't
that
know
is.
these terms until I came to the back chat. So
That part,
Tiffany
exactly.
has no idea what a pick me
Exactly,
is.
Tiff.
Well, my definition of a pick me is someone that does things and act out or is an attention seeker. They do things to make people pick them. Feel like that. That's the best way I can try to explain it.
Yep.
If I may, it's widely accepted that pygmies would be the ones that do not attempt to rock the boat and or may side often more with men rather than play the girl code, so to speak.
Actually, that's not
So
what a pick me is.
hold on. Can I
That's what y'all
finish
men
it?
say.
I said,
Hold
can I
on,
finish?
guess
You didn't even
Paul,
let
this
me
is our
finish
floor
it.
though. Paul, this
Right,
is our floor
Paul?
though.
Yeah, but the
It's
woman
not a
asked,
men's.
and
It's not the
It's not
men's.
men's.
But it's not y'all's point of view. It's women's.
Yeah. So you can't really, say
wait a
that
Yeah,
for
minute.
so
the
Wait,
save that for the after party.
Hold up. The woman
What?
said she didn't know what a pick me is. And
But
I
that
was
was
telling
in
her,
right,
that was
but
hold
in the
on,
you're
invitation.
give me
giving
a
her the
minute,
man's
But you're
definition of
give
a
me
giving
a
her
minute,
No,
give
his
me a minute,
that
give me a
definition.
minute,
wasn't
ladies,
Paul.
She's
That
about
was
I gotta
not
go
in
ahead
the
and start
No,
muting
invitation for
hold
you
on,
to
hold on.
answer.
You guys are taking this y'all floor as if I can't just try to explain from a man's perspective one thing,
But
which
I
is
thought
what
it was supposed
men
to be
You're
an
not
define
answer
as a
question.
pick
supposed
me.
to.
The woman
You're
No,
asked
not
hold
what a pick
supposed
me
on.
to.
is.
We didn't ask you though. That
But
was the
it's a man,
invitation for you to
a man's
answer.
question.
No, it's
but it's
but
the
The
you're
answer
women's
was
Oh
there.
my
floor.
god.
it's the
Oh my
women's
god.
floor
No.
is what we're asking.
Y'all just being fucking crybabies now. Go ahead.
Wow, really, Paul?
But
Yeah, because basically
I
it's. I mean,
fucking said it.
she just
Go,
basically said what it
I'm
is.
shutting up.
It's when
Go.
you compromise yourself. You compromise yourself, your own values, things that you want, and go against it basically to get picked. If this is
yes, you
not
do
how you
things
actually
to
think
do things.
or how you actually feel or what you would actually do or whatever, and you're just saying it just to get likes, just to get somebody to say, "Oh yeah, she, her," then you're a pick me. If it is actually how you feel and actually how you think, that's not a pick me. You're just literally saying your thoughts. But if you're going against your grain, your own thoughts, your own code, just to be picked by somebody, just to be liked by somebody, and agreeing,
You're
then
a
that's
pick.
a pick me.
Okay.
Girl's
All right.
point of view.
Anybody else before I go to the next question?
I'd like to respond.
Go ahead.
I actually would like to say that I think that in the discussion in regards to the term, many of the times there's other surrounding discussion in regards to sexism and patriarchy and how sometimes you have what's a really good example? To give a racial analogy, like an Uncle Tom is like someone that basically would be like the person that's African American, that's an all lives matter person, in order to gain the approval of like mainstream white society. And so in certain circles, a pick me is described as a woman that reinforces sexist views and viewpoints, and traditionalist viewpoints in order to gain male validation and have a seat at the table in terms of power. So, and I guess an example of this would be there was a congresswoman that actually said that she was against women being paid the same for the same job because, well, how else will women get husbands? And so, to me, that's an example of someone that is a pick me.
Okay.
That's a good example.
Anybody else?
She's asked how would women get husbands? Shit, pick them up at the bar like the rest of them. The fuck? I don't give a fuck about the phrase. It's it's whatever.
I
You go
think
to the next
I think I agree with
Yeah.
what both Denise and Jessica said about the definition of pick me's. Basically going against your own what you believe in, so that you can bend to the will of another person, so that they would choose you. And I also don't think it's almost like you don't want to, you're afraid of being alone, so you would rather, like Jessica said, reinforce those sexist and misogynistic views about what women's roles are. If that's really what you believe, I'm okay with that. I just don't think that if you want women to respect you as a quote unquote pick me, then you should respect another woman's right to not to have a voice and have her own say. But I do think there is like a back and forth between women that are outspoken and the quote unquote pick me's. But that's another conversation. But yeah, basically that's what a pick me is. It's just somebody that's not going to stand up for what they really truly feel and believe, because they're afraid they're not going to get chosen, and they don't want to be like the other women, basically.
Anybody else? That's
interesting.
all right. Because the definition I learned is basically everything you all just said, just in it short and quick, is that a pick me is a woman that puts down other women for the approval.
Whoa! Why you get to say what a pick me is, but I was told to shut up and let the women have the floor.
I knew he was gonna say something.
Why
I was
the
just
I'm like,
waiting for it. I knew it. I knew
say
it.
something, but I got shut down. You damn
I
right.
knew he was
Asshole
gonna
number
say
one in the building. You got me fucked up like I'm gonna pretend that
Because
ain't
you were
happening.
trying to shut off all the
I
rest of the
don't give a
women.
fuck. Shut
It
that
was
shit
because
up.
you was trying to shut all of us up, and then you said your definition. You let everyone else speak
I was
first,
trying
all
to
the
tell
women,
you,
and
I
then
was
he gave
trying to
us the
tell
actual
y'all
definition.
from a man's perspective
Right.
what men think. This
Because
nigga telling
But
y'all
it's
from
it's
women's
not what
men
men
are
perspective.
just
think.
I
reactionary.
See, that's that
knew it was coming.
bullshit. Yeah,
But he
hot
wasn't
seat.
All right.
talking
That's
about
right.
what men
Hot
think.
seat.
Let
Hot
me
seat bullshit.
throw a
Called
blow now.
bullshit.
It's time for me to throw a blow. Are y'all ready for this blow? Look, y'all
All
ready?
right, come
It's about to
on,
get light.
Prometheus. What's up? What you
All
got?
right. As Black women in America, what is it that you can do to stop in the aiding of the emasculation of Black men?
Stop emasculating Black men.
Y'all stumped?
No,
No, I'm
not
trying to understand.
Thinking. What? Say the question again.
I'm trying to understand how that. What?
I don't know.
What do you consider
I'm not quite
emasculation?
sure. Right. Okay. Ask it again.
As Black women in America, what is it that you can do to stop in the aiding of emasculation of Black men?
I've never aided in that, so I can't answer that.
It's a
At
general
this
question.
point,
General
we
question.
can't do
Yeah, like I
anything because
said,
we're not helping getting men.
I'm not aiding in that, so I
So
can't answer.
I don't see us being able to do anything. If men want to follow behind men want to degrade women, men want to wear purses, men want to have sex with other men want to replace women with transgenders. I'm not seeing how women can do anything else. We're women.
Right.
If you're choosing to follow men and put down women and basically hate women and love on men, that's a man thing. Like, men have to stop the emasculation of men by not giving into that shit. We are women.
Right.
We can't do
So,
nothing for men.
so a follow-up question.
Hold on. I feel like we could just honestly try our best to not feed into it. I'm like, women do have, we do have a lot of women out here that, what's that quote? Men ain't shit and all of that. Like, we can personally stop doing it ourselves You know what I'm saying? It don't start with a million, it start with one.
But
Absolutely.
saying men ain't
Yeah, I
shit, that's not
agree.
emasculating. That's not
But
taking
that's
away his
not
manhood.
emasculate.
That's saying that he's a man, that he's just a bad one. We're not
I'm
saying,
like,
we're
but
not taking
what I'm
away his
saying,
manhood.
what
Emasculation
I'm
is when you're
saying is that
taking away
women,
their
we have
manhood.
those women that do take men down and dog them and degrade them as just like men do.
Exactly.
We have those women that do that. So the women that are not doing it, we can continue not doing it and just not feeding into it. You know what I'm saying? Actually bringing a positive light to our black men.
I think you should have respect for your partner when you're in a relationship, both men and women. But since this is about, you know, the emasculation of men, I think emasculation and respect are getting misconstrued. Um, because I can, you know,
Conflated.
I can be, if I disrespect you, that doesn't take away from your masculinity. That just means that I'm not respecting you. And vice versa. Like if you cuss me out like a dog, that doesn't mean I'm not feminine. That just means you disrespected me. So I think what really needs to be is a conversation of having healthy dialogue with your partner when you don't agree.
Right.
So if you're
But
not
Right.
able to
is this about
control,
your partner or just you?
And yeah, I thought this was just in general, like men wise. I didn't think this was about
Yeah,
relationships.
because I understand what you're saying. The
okay,
only
in
way,
general,
yeah,
but
because
in
that's why
general,
she
the
went to partner,
relationship
because
doesn't
that's
have to
pretty. The
be a
only way you can
romantic one.
emasculate them.
It doesn't have to be a
Yeah, yeah,
romantic
yeah. Okay,
relationship.
okay, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Um,
Just
but what I'm saying is that, you know, having respect when you talk to someone in general, I'll take the relationship part out. In general, having respect for another person, another human being, and realizing that they deserve respect. Just like you would want to be treated like the golden rule, but I don't think that's emasculation. Um,
I
I'll use the
agree.
floor.
But I think,
Yeah, I agree.
when a lot of what we say and the situation that we say it in is what emasculates a lot of men
Next.
because, say, for instance, if a group of people were around and
Anybody
we
else
cut
have
them
anything to
down,
say
called
about it?
them names, told them he
Sister
wasn't
I
Barbara
do,
shit,
but
speaking
it's
now.
told him he wasn't shit in front of maybe, his friends or a group of people, that's kind of embarrassing, for a man, especially if he don't, come back at you or be ready to fight you and all that stuff. But he'll be looked at. I think the name they use now is simp, as a simp.
Yeah.
Right. So there is a way to emasculate a man without necessarily calling him a ass engine or PS. You know, without using vulgar language, there's still a way that a man can be emasculated. I believe that's what Miss Barbara is saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
Anyone else? I'm sorry. Anyone else?
I actually have a few words. Um,
Okay.
I'm coming at this from a completely different angle, because I'm guess what you would call you would label as someone that is called woke, so to speak. So um, I see it a little bit differently. So I don't believe that I am intentionally aiding in the emasculation of black men. I do think it is very possible to simply um, be very hurtful and cruel and be very dehumanizing towards others. And I don't think that's just exclusive to black men. I just mean people in general.
Yeah, but the
So,
question was about, black men. And so that's
right.
what
But
was
the
what was
issue is
being
that,
addressed. I know
right.
what the issue is,
Barbara.
Jessica. We understood the issue.
Well,
But what
that's okay.
but yeah,
I'm,
because it's coming across like you're dismissing what we're saying is what all I'm trying to say.
I'm not trying to dismiss what you all are saying. I was just simply saying I was prefacing my statements to say that I was coming from it from a different perspective. I wasn't saying that I was dismissing your experiences or dismissing what you were saying. I was simply saying, and I was trying to answer the question and respond truthfully So I was not trying to dismiss your experiences and dismiss what anyone else has already stated. I was just simply trying to state that I was coming from it from a different angle. That's all I'm saying. And I would love to be able to finish what I was saying.
By all means, sister, go ahead.
Okay.
By all means, go ahead.
So what I'm trying to say is that one of the ways in which you can undercut what you guys are talking about is by actually doing the work and not defining your worth and your value as a human being based on power and control over others. And so by doing that, that means that I would have to stop seeing people as pawns. I would have to start seeing people as other human beings that are worthy of respect and not using someone else's guide in regards to how they should be treated. So if someone wants to call me, what's the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of?
Take your time.
If someone wants to label me as, oh, well, she's emasculating, but they're not, their reasons for saying that I'm emasculating have nothing to do with my actual words and behavior towards them, but simply just based off their perceptions of who they think I am, I can't help that. And so I think the way in which you can work to kind of sort of deal with that is by learning the difference between what is truly emasculating and what is actually someone's insecurities. Because some of it is like, okay, this person is really being disrespectful and rude. And then there's some instances where it's just, I don't know you. We haven't had an interaction, but you're saying I'm all these things, but you've never had a conversation with me. You've never attempted to actually spend any time with me, get to know me as a person, but you're projecting all these perceptions that you have of me without knowing me. So I'm just saying in terms of like trying to discern what's emasculating someone and what's really just someone else's issues that are put on others.
Okay.
I think what the men are trying to say is that they don't feel validated by women. Not necessarily because they want, not necessarily because they base their identity in us, but just as their place in society. Because now we are, you know, working. We're getting our education. You know, Black Girl Magic, which is all great and wonderful. But I will say that some of the negative things that I've seen, and like I said, I feel like it's more disrespect, is just not the consideration for their feelings and their emotions. Now I don't know any of the ladies can speak on this because I do want to address the fellas' questions. Because I want to answer as truthful as possible. But I don't really know when you say emasculating men in general. I don't really know what that means exactly. Because me personally, any man I know, whether it's my brother, my cousin, my dad, you know, anybody that I know, I'm always about empowering them to be the best person that they can be, especially Black men.
Okay, so that actually takes me off script, because now it leads me to ask this question: what do women believe manhood is?
Mm.
Because if you guys are saying we don't believe we emasculate men, but men are saying women are definitely emasculating us, and like the example you use as far as women are becoming you know, independent. I was trying to find a better phrase, but you know, working women and doing for themselves. And you have to understand, can you understand the connotation of the term I don't need a man is emasculating?
Nope.
Okay, I
No.
get. Can I respond to this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand why that would be a trigger because if you look in terms of like from a,
Can you speak louder, please?
I'm sorry, from a socio-cultural perspective, I think that in terms of what many men in America have been taught about manhood is that it's been very much tied to the ability to be a financial provider, the ability to be, I guess, the image of the American dream. And so when you have things, i.e., government policy, i.e., um, just changes in the cultural landscape over the course of the years, and also the advancement of women's rights in America, I think that kind of sort of like jostled that definition a lot because if someone takes away the ability to provide, if someone takes away the ability to be needed from this definition, then what good are they according to this particular definition of manhood? And to answer your question, I think that manhood, in my honest opinion, is solid character. I think manhood is integrity. I think manhood is um, general decency. Um, Now, the thing, again, like I said earlier, because I have a very different view about gender and that kind of stuff, this is kind of like my definition of manhood seems to be very vague, but I do think that it's money is great and nice and wonderful, but our planet is really screwed because of people who have billions and among other things. But I say all that to say that there are plenty of people who have money, but they're bankrupt when it comes to actually having integrity. They're bankrupt when it comes to having any ability to think of someone other than themselves. And they see people as items to be used. So, yes, someone can be, someone can provide, but that doesn't mean that that's all that they're useful for. And it's very heartbreaking to hear that people have been brainwashed into thinking that their worth and their value is only in what they can provide. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think being a man is simple. I mean, basically just being about whatever, be solid about how you move in life, your character, your morals, your values. Um and I don't really know. I think for a lot of men, the struggle of kind of trying to figure out, okay, where do I fit now if I'm not out there, you know, being the main provider and, holding things down. I really can't say that I know exactly like what a man is, but I can say that for me, character is really important. Because you can have all the money in the world, like Jessica said, and you can still, just not be a good person. But I think that's the problem. And I want to clarify this too, because when women say we don't need a man, and I really want every man to listen to this, we're not saying that you're not valuable or you're not wanted, or we don't need you. The truth is that we want a solid partner. I think everybody wants a solid partner, right? We can do what we can for ourselves because we're adults, where we should be. It's not saying that we don't need you, but we don't need extra problems. Like, we don't need extra drama. It's not saying we don't need men in general. We just don't want to deal with the things that women have always had to deal with historically, which is basically you take lemons and you make lemonade, because we couldn't always do what we do now. Like, we're in a position where we can actually take care of ourselves. We can become millionaires if we want to. We can own property. We can own our own business. We can do all of these things. And I think sometimes men forget that this was not always given to us. So it's not that we don't need you. You are valuable. You are needed in the communities. You're needed to rear children. You're needed for stability. Like, as far as, I think people who are in loving, healthy relationships really do thrive. Um, but that I hear a lot of men say, "Oh, you say you don't need a man." I think you're misinterpreting what that message really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll yield the floor on that one.
I think that when you're trying to describe manhood, personally, I think that it is something described by each man. What they what they hold as a standard, and that they respect it with themselves. You know what I'm saying? But to me personally, when I see manhood, I think of strong, regal, a leader, a protector, somebody that's passionate, loyal, and driven. I think that is something that is man, and pride. Pride is just manly. It is a man. It's something that you do. So a man that stands in his manhood, he is proud. He has dignity, and you know what I'm saying. He knows that he's standing in his power, and to me, that's what manhood is.
Okay. Anybody else before I go in
What
and
was
ask?
the question?
I'm sorry.
What was the question?
Question was, what do you believe manhood is? Because I tied it together with the emasculation. I kind of went off script from my list of questions that I have. And so that noise is wrestling papers or something.
I don't know what that means.
But basically, it's like with everyone, there was a consensus saying that everyone said, well, we don't emasculate men. And then I asked the women to define manhood with the premise of understanding the connotation of telling a man, I don't need a man, or just saying that statement could be emasculating to men, because men, our identity is so wrapped up in providers and you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, well, I'll pass.
Right. And even with some men, say for instance, the wife is bringing in more money and can afford to do more than he can for his family. Sometimes that hurts the man, makes him feel bad too, because it makes him feel like it's the head of the household, as the husband. Traditionally, the role is to take care of your family, meaning your wife, your children, because that's how we've been socialized to think and behave. What a man's role is, what a woman's role is. And I think a lot of times that hurt men a lot, with that. And even though, like the ladies have said, our careers, we've been educated and what have you, those same opportunities were not really available to our men. I mean, it was more of a focus on uh, our women, mainly because they had special grants and the funds available where the women could get those and to go into different professions as opposed to what the men could get.
Okay. All right. Anybody else before we move on?
Yeah, me. I got a question. Why the fuck y'all keep letting Timothy interject and ask all kind of shit and not tell him it's a woman's damn floor? Why y'all keep doing me like that?
Paul, we definitely
I
let you
knew it was coming.
interject and
Didn't
talk.
you
Nah,
give
fuck
him
But
the
you
all that.
started
floor
Go
trying
to
to
ahead.
take
ask
over
the
the
questions?
conversation.
I'm talking about Paul was leading.
Right.
Right, like you almost took over the conversation. Like,
Started arguing with us.
right, telling us, "Can I talk? Can I talk?"
Ain't
Trying to
nobody
give people
arguing with
mad
y'all
ones.
motherfuckers. I tried to explain the goddamn pick me and you told me to shut up. When Timotheus go into it and agree with y'all's definition is yeah, boy, go ahead. That's right. That's what the fucking
Okay,
problem is.
no, it wasn't.
Wait,
It
what did Paul
wasn't.
remember at the
No, hold
beginning of
on. It
the?
Because
wasn't because they agreed
Timotheus
with
is
us.
not
Said
It
it's
was the
harsh.
about
fact that he allowed
delivery.
all of the women to talk first. He allowed all of the women to give their definition to that woman that asked, and then he gave the actual definition. You was just trying to cut us off and give her the
No,
definition from a man's point of view,
I
and
said,
that's not
may
how
I
that
speak?
goes.
I said, may I speak? And y'all said, go ahead. And the minute I started talking, like, no. Let
Because
us
we
talk.
didn't
It's
want to
our
hear the
floor.
male
Ladies,
point. We didn't want to
Paul,
hear
but
the
Shut up.
man's
remember we
definition
said
of
at
ladies,
the
pick
y'all
me.
better
beginning of
stop
this.
emasculating Paul.
No,
Paul,
I'm just, yeah, there you
Paul,
go. That's right.
No,
That's right,
no,
Miss Barbara. They
what
are
it was is that we
emasculating me.
just didn't want to
Got me
hear.
all
We
in my
just didn't want to
fucking
hear
feelings and
the.
shit. Nah, I'm just trying to derail and throw a little fun. Y'all go back, man.
Right.
You
So,
know
We knew that.
All righty. So we ready? Moving on. Okay, because this is in. So now we kind of touched on Raw. I'm trying to see how my questions that I have over here line up with what we've been talking about. Kind of keep it along the same lines. So since we're talking about tradition and roles and stuff like that, in general, do you guys believe that the title of wife is more valuable than the actual role of a wife in today's society?
no.
Yes,
The
because
title over the
women get
Yes.
role.
married. Women get married just to say that they married and just to get a ring nowadays. Women do not really get married for what you actually commit and what you saying in those vows. When you make that vow, women are not getting married for that anymore. Women are getting
So
married for the popularity of it.
wouldn't that be the role is more
What?
No, they don't know what the
valuable?
role is. They not getting into it for the wifely role. They getting into it just to say
Oh,
I'm a
I see
wife.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't know what a wife role is. They not even there to play a wifely role. They just there to say, "Oh, I'm married. I'm somebody's
I got
wife." To
married.
show off the ring.
They're in it for the wedding and not the marriage.
Right,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
right.
are we
Hmm.
saying that's a modern view, or are y'all saying that's a?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't feel. I don't know if it's. Yeah, I
the
guess it
question
is a
was framed
modern.
in the modern generality.
Okay, I'll let the other ladies go, and I'll fall back for this.
I think so. I think it is from the men too.
You think
Because
so?
yeah, I think that men like to be able to say, I got a wife. Oh no, I mean I don't got
Mm-hmm.
that problem because I got a wife. Like the fact that you have a wife means that now you're a good man. The fact that you have a wife now means that you have accomplished everything in life. The fact that you have a wife means that you know more than the next person. Or the fact that you have a wife means that you're not embarrassed that this other girl just turned you down. So people say they have this wife thing and the men and the women, like, I think a lot use it like that, and they use it as a pawn to where it's like, well, we're supposed to be married, so that just means that you're stuck with me, and people feel like they can just do whatever. You're stuck here. We're married. You know what I'm saying? We just supposed to be husband and wife. You're supposed to deal with this, and that's not necessarily how that is supposed to go.
Okay.
Yeah, me personally, I feel the modern time, everybody want to be like Cardi B and Gucci Man's wife. And, everybody want to be like them. They just want to be married just to say that they married. I don't honestly feel like people are actually walking down that aisle because they're there to build a relationship and that they ultimately like really love this person and all of that. I feel like they just doing it for the clout. Oh, I'm getting married to
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I
For the
can definitely.
pictures, and they want to go viral. And
Yeah, they waiting to be the best way, and they want to be the cutest
Right.
guy.
yeah,
They want
my
to have
dress
the
gotta
Really low.
coldest
be.
dress. They want to, you feel me? My bouquet was better. Like I feel like that is that.
My
And
dress was
even
$6,000.
make it that they stayed with this cheating person for a reason. Oh, no, he not doing that no more. We getting married. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
that's
she
a good
came
point.
back.
That's a
She,
good point.
we getting married. I done seen so many people married right now from somebody that they know ain't shit.
Oh
You know
my
what I'm
God, like
saying?
real
But it
quick.
makes
Hang
Yeah.
on,
it
hang on.
worth
Sister
their
Barbara tried to
while.
say something, but it was low.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
go
I'm
Um,
ahead.
sorry.
Sorry.
I
Sorry,
was
Miss
gonna say
Barbara.
I was going on, with what the ladies say because a lot of times they want these big old rings, they want this great big wedding, knowing damn well it's gonna take 5-10 years to pay that shit off, and
They want
it's
these
just
lavish
unrealistic.
weddings.
Can't hear
Yeah,
her.
lavish wedding, you can't even afford the shit.
Exactly. You taking out loans to
Taking
have
out
a damn
loans,
wedding.
right?
Yeah.
Can you get closer to the phone, Miss Barbara? It's really hard. You sound very low.
Oh, okay. Is this better?
Yeah, much better. Oh wow, that's
Oh, okay. My flap was
perfect.
in the way. Yeah, yeah. Were you able to hear what I was saying? Did y'all
It was
catch
low,
what I
but we
was
made it
saying?
out.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll leave the flap open then.
Okay, so everybody spoke their piece because that kind of
I
leads me into the next question.
I don't really I can agree to an extent about getting married just to say you're married. But I think there's a few things that go into that. A lot of us probably don't grow up in homes where we are reared by our parents who are married. So we don't have an exact definition of what marriage is. I think everyone, well, I don't want to say everyone. I think most people look at marriage as a fantasy, cure all, fix all kind of situation. Um, I don't really think you know what your expectations are as a wife, even if you accept the traditional wife roles, you still don't really know, everything that goes into being a wife until you're actually in the marriage.
That
And
part.
every marriage
Preach.
is different for every couple. So what
Yeah.
one woman experience may not be the other. I feel that also if you didn't grow up in a traditional household, you know, and your mom had to work, you don't see your mom, quote unquote, doing traditional wifely roles because she works all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You might even have to take care of yourself a lot of the times or take care of your siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really agree that women are just now these days are getting married just because I think some women are actually waiting till later in life to get married and have kids. Um and some women, a lot of women actually are not wanting to get married entirely.
Yeah, that's true
So
too.
I don't know. I have a mixed view about that, but I will say as a man, you should have conversations before you get married about, what you think a wife should be and what she thinks a husband
Absolutely.
should be.
Expectations.
So when you get married,
Exactly.
you're
Hmm.
not hit with why don't you cook, why don't you clean, why don't you do this, why don't you do that. I know
Yes.
what is expected of me when I get in this marriage so that we're not having disputes about what we should be doing.
That's why
Exactly. You're
premarital.
very wise,
That's
Landon.
I agree.
You're very wise.
premarital counseling is so important.
Hmm.
So important for those tough conversations.
Okay.
I
So
agree. I agree.
Very much so,
that leads into,
because
like I said, this
I agree, Super.
I'm gonna
this
say one thing. Honestly, if there's women that are out there just getting married to get married or to say that they're married, that's just weird because that shit is super expensive when it don't work out.
It is though. There's a lot of women like
So
that.
I don't understand what, like, I
But
don't
you would think
understand
that
that
women that
mindset.
got
because
married because they're
Alicia,
married.
they're gonna stay married.
They're
If they
not
stay
trying to
married,
give
then
up
they
their
got nothing to
voice.
worry about.
They're not, because it wasn't for the actual reason anyway. So they'll still be married.
So basically, what I'm hearing is that if it's okay for me to say what I think I'm hearing, it's okay. Some women, not all, and or men are getting married for the sake of the ceremony, but not the commitment.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
yep.
yep,
they're
you
doing it
hit
for
it right on
clout,
the
so they
head,
can
Mom.
post
That
it all
And I
over
that
mean,
Instagram.
leads
it
that leads
actually
me.
that was in the past too, because people used to get married because somebody was pregnant or somebody, not
Yeah,
because
that's
they
true
were
too.
actually ready to get married.
That
So,
part.
and then they would stay married for the family's sake, regardless of what they was doing on the side and everything else.
Right.
Well,
You
that
just
And that's
gotta
why
that
know
men had
that you
3-4
know that you
families.
know.
All right, so that's like just having duties, learning duties, wifely and husband duties, which is not chores, but it's the loyalty and the respect and honor that you give one another, and there are duties that come with that
All right.
to each other, to your souls and shit.
So that leads me into my
Okay, I
tie-in
agree.
question. And my tie-in question is actually on my list. And that tie-in question is: do you believe that love isn't as valued in today's generation as it was valued in yesteryear?
No, and I think that it shouldn't be.
I didn't really hear the question. Say it again.
So I said, segueing out of that, people getting married just to say they did it. My question was, do you believe that in today's time, love isn't as valued as love was in yesteryear? Like people don't value like falling in love and being in love like it used to be.
No, they don't. They don't. I don't believe that a lot of people. I'm not gonna say all, but I don't believe a lot of people in this generation really even give a fuck about love. You see how men dog women and women dog men, and how they say women are switching and they becoming the men now and men becoming the women now, and love is not in there. There's a whole bunch of toxic
Hookup time.
situations.
I
This
would
is the
even,
hookup generation.
I would
Well,
even,
Yeah,
I think
really.
love is in there. I just don't think that it's important. Love is there. It's there. The problem is that love is not an end all be all. It does not fix anything, and somebody can love you and beat your ass.
Fact.
So the point is that love is not, it's respect, and respect is being raised higher than love now, as it should be. It should have been part of love, but it's not. So respect is getting raised higher, and that's what it should be. The respect you have yourself and the respect you have for the person that you're dealing with is going to reflect. Love is not, that's not going to do anything because you love somebody or because somebody love you ain't a reason for anything now.
Hold on, remember we had this conversation before where it was like we had touched on something where it was like the love that you have for somebody only you feel it. Like
Yes,
like literally
that's
like when you
me.
love
Oh,
somebody,
you
they
remember
don't
that?
feel.
I feel so
Yeah,
special.
girl, that shit stuck with me on something different. I swear to God. But like the love you feel for somebody, they don't technically feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to show them in different ways and in different moments that y'all have that you love that person. But they don't actually feel the real love that you feel for them. Only you feel that love. So love don't mean shit. Because just because I love you doesn't mean that you actually feel the love that I have for you. Like Real shit. I'm like, and that shit stuck with
Yeah.
me. Like that conversation stuck with me so different. Like, and I
Man,
walked into a lot of
that's
different relationships thinking like
that is
that.
a
Like, damn, like I could love the fuck out of somebody, but they
that's
don't feel
very
that love.
profound,
You know
Denise.
what I'm
That
saying?
was profound. That was profound. I like that.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
that
I like that.
definitely resonated with me.
I I I
Cause,
I I
Right?
cause
I,
I
I
was
get
saying it makes it
yeah.
selfish. That love is
Well,
important
Yeah.
because it's
yeah.
selfish. Because what I'm saying is, I feel love for you, so now I feel like you supposed to do something for me because I feel love for you,
Yeah. Are you
and
supposed to
that's
act
not
a
how
certain
it's
type of way
supposed
or
to.
change
Yeah, that's not how it's
yourself? Or,
supposed to go. I feel the
Yeah.
love.
Okay.
When you come
Uh,
around, I get butterflies.
yeah.
But I
If I
expect for
if
you to react because I get butterflies. That
if I may
Good
interject real
one.
quick, and I'm not trying to interfere in the conversation. I find it profound, and yet I would disagree with somewhat of what you guys are saying about the other person not feeling it. But I'll save that for another time. But I do agree that that is a very profound statement.
Well, the reason why I said they wouldn't feel it is because I'm saying that the thing that the other person feels is care.
yeah.
You may have to ask, does somebody love you? Right? Their actions, their words, whatever it is, you be like, do they really love me? You may question it. You don't question if somebody cares because they're gonna they show that. That's something that's shown to you. And that's how somebody shows you they love you, by caring. You know what I'm saying? Your life is full of people who care. Your funeral is full of people who love you.
So that I got a question now because and Paul will tell you this is one that we was like gonna throw out the window because it was like satire, but it kind of go with what we talking about. So do y'all believe that there's more women walking around digmatized than that are actually in love? They confusing those two.
Yes, I do believe that there's a lot of women that are in lust instead of in love. I
Yes,
don't
I
call it
agree with that.
digmatized. I call it in lust. I feel like there's a lot of women and men that are in lust. They're not actually in love,
I agree.
and they confuse the two.
Agree with that. Yeah.
I agree. Well, it's not. It's maybe not even confusing it, but because that level of lust you have for that person, you tend to throw other things out the window that you should be paying attention to.
And that's why I said digmatized. This is
That's what
hypnotic.
but that's technically what digmatized is. When you digmatize for somebody, you so into that person, you don't see none of the red flags. You're not listening to what nobody else says. You just into that person.
Right. So you
That's
think you
lust.
love
Hmm.
them, but you really just love the. Yeah.
The feeling of them. You don't. You feel me? Like, cause there's a lot of
Yeah.
shit that if you actually paid attention to, you probably wouldn't be there.
True.
Yeah, do I think that it's a lot of people that are? I think a lot of people are who basically equate sex with love.
Yeah.
If they have good sex, then they feel like that person loves them. And so therefore it's like a drug. You know, you when you go away from it, you don't feel the love no more, clearly, because that's not what it is, but it's what they're equating it to. So therefore you have to keep going back to get it because that's how you're getting your love. And I think that a lot of people, because they do that, they do end up getting stuck there, in that cycle, to where it's like a drug addiction. And you do keep going back to get that, and it gives you that dopamine, it gives you that high, it gives you that feeling of love, and somebody's there for you and caring for you and making you feel so good. And then you
Mm-hmm.
leave, and they're not doing it anymore when you leave.
And you
And
got
until you come
withdrawals.
back around, yeah, you come
Magnetized.
back around and you get some more. And so you're in this cycle of love, supposedly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all in
Denise,
your feelings.
Yeah, and it's
huh?
all lust.
Can I ask you a question? Why is being digmatized always associated as a negative thing? Like, wouldn't you want to be
What?
digmatized by the man that you're like in love with? Can you be
I'm like,
digmatized in a healthy
Nah,
relationship?
the reason why it's always
nah.
associated in a bad way because when you're
Yes.
digmatized, you you look over a lot. You would choose him. You would choose that man in situations where you were supposed to keep it mutual. You would choose that man and over your family, over your kids, over, you feel me, over a lot of shit. You'll burn
Digmatized
bridges
means
being
that you're
digmatized.
hypnotized. You're hypnotized by the dick, meaning
I,
that
You're
I,
in
would- I would,
love.
I
what
would,
it it's not what it really is.
I
When you're
would say,
Yeah.
hypnotized by something, it's not. That's not. You're getting confused. That's what hypnotizing something is. You're making somebody think a certain way that isn't really that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
So
might love the dick of your man,
In love,
but that's
you
not
love him.
digmatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually
okay,
care
well,
When
about
you're
thanks
in
for the
love.
love, you're
clarification.
naturally
Because
going
I was
to.
just, I mean, honestly, I think,
Yeah. It's like, look into my penis.
She sound like that. She
man,
sound
shut
okay,
like
up.
she about to say,
I
ain't
get
nothing
what you.
wrong with being digmatized. There's some good dick out there.
No,
Work
because
same,
she
No,
fuck
that's
thinking
not.
like
everything.
I
That's
Hey.
not.
love.
No,
If
please
I
she
don't
don't
want
do
to
love
be
that.
her man's,
Don't
digmatized.
do
she
that.
thinking if she love her man's dick, then she's digmatized. But that's not digmatized. That's because you love him and everything about him. So
Right. I mean,
In
that just
every
means
that's
that
gonna
way.
come
the
with it.
dick is good too, so that's a plus. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
that's
Well,
like
I would
that's
I would
like
say
Plus.
woo.
this, like, I think, if you are being digmatized, um, there's a lot of other things that go into that.
9 times
Um,
out of 10, when you get digmatized, you get digmatized by a fuckboy. I'm just being real.
Period.
It ain't no good
Usually, I
man.
well,
mean,
I mean, I understand everything y'all saying. I guess in a way, I was kind of trying to be facetious, but it's okay. Um, basically, again, that goes back to what you base your worth and your value on. If you're gonna allow yourself to give in to um being
Right.
hypnotized by some penis, you know, I generally see women making bad choices with fuck boys, mainly because of their need to like help. Like they want to help that man, they want to fix that man, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I don't know.
Hold
I
on.
yield
Okay,
the
look.
I yield the floor on that one.
Okay, look. I was reading these comments, right? And I just feel like we need to go back to the love part because people in the comments are not understanding what we meant or what we were touching on when we said the love that you have for that person they don't feel. So I guess we gotta clarify
Yeah, I
what's going
wanted
on
I
here.
wanted to go on that too, but my phone was cutting out when y'all were talking, so y'all can clarify and then I'll give my answer on that.
Yeah, so on me personally, when I had the conversation and we were talking about it, I debated it too because I didn't understand. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, if I love you, you gonna feel this love? Like, nigga, I'm showing you, I'm giving it to you. Like, I love you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then in the same sentence, I had to take away my thought process on me loving somebody and get it from a different aspect. Meaning, like, my man. I'm like, I know he loves me because of what he does and how he's there for me and how he treats me. You know what I mean? But I don't technically feel the love he has for me. I don't know how strong it really is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how far it goes. I just know that he loves me because of what he does for me or how he is with me.
Right. Right. Okay.
So that's what I mean
Yeah.
by you don't really feel the love that your partner has for you,
Right.
but they can show you that because of how they care for you.
Okay.
And that's
All
where
right.
we mix the
And
caring
that,
part in. Like you
yeah,
feel you feel
that's
how they
where
care for you
I
because of
was.
how they,
I'm sorry to
you
cut
know.
you, sis, but that's where I was saying what she said was profound because on the other end of that was what I'm thinking. What you said, although you may not feel what that person feels for you, you at least have an idea of what that person feels as far as like
How
if
they
it's
treat
mutual,
you.
right? If you love them, you may not feel that love that they feel, but you still feel a love for them. So in that respect, you still have that love that binds you together.
not
Now, if you feel now, if
necessarily.
someone hold on.
That's not
Now,
What
on
true.
what
that
what I,
note,
what I,
hang on.
what I
On
was
that note, we 2 hours in, so we're gonna open it up to where we can have other people come in and not just, you know what I mean, like we spoke about
okay.
earlier. So go ahead, Paul. Uh,
No, I was just gonna say on the other end, it sounded like we could say that I have a love for, let's say, Denise, right? I have a love for her, but she does not love me. then that's where there's a problem. But there's never a problem when I have a love for Denise, she has a love for me, but her feelings might be stronger than what I realize. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like what Sister
that
Lil
that was the
Lioness was
point
saying.
in it.
Yeah, I
Like the
get it,
point
but
is that you like the love you feel, you
Sure, if you
are
want
the
to
only
come up,
one.
click the link in the comments.
Yeah, you are the only one that feels it, and it does not do anything for the other person at all. You could love somebody and they never ever know, and you could deeply love them. So
Right.
the thing
well,
is that when you love is not reciprocal. It is not based on if somebody is doing something for you, because it's an internal thing. So
yeah,
I can love somebody and they can hate me, but I can still love them. They're not gonna feel it. I'm gonna
I
always feel it.
I get that, but my point was, if as far as two individuals that share a bond, that's what I was talking about. I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the
but
one
that's
that.
going
Right,
into
but
a
then you're
deeper
feeling the
emotional state.
bond. You're not feeling the love. That the love is still just yours to feel.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to touch on the other comment that was in there when they said that love doesn't abuse you. I'm like, and that right there is a lie. Like, you do have people out here, like we have had murder cases and all that, where a person truly believes in their heart that I love you so deeply, I can never see somebody else. I would rather take your life. Like, we're not gonna act like it doesn't happen. We're not gonna act like we don't have fatal attractions and shit. Where a bitch love a bitch so much she ain't killed him and the side bitch. Like, we're not gonna act like
I
this
agree.
doesn't happen. And
That's
you
not. I
can't
don't
tell
think
that
that's
person
love.
that
I
it
think
wasn't
that's
love.
possessive.
You feel me? You can't tell them that they didn't
Baby,
feel
that
love
ain't
for that
love.
person.
That's
Somebody
like,
trying to hurt you. Woo.
What you say,
You
Sister
can
Barbara?
look at it like, oh, they just crazy and controlling,
Open the
but
flap
you
up
can't
on your
tell that
phone and be
person
closer,
that.
Sister Barbara. We can't hear you.
No, I was going to respond to what Sister Lioness said. I said, well, for me, that ain't love, baby. That's kind of
exactly.
the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they do love. Like, that's the
yeah,
thing. You can't tell
But then I
them
think you're missing the psychological issue behind
that.
it. Like, if you're
But no,
killing
no,
it's
someone,
but
not
you're not
showing
getting what
you.
I'm saying though.
She's
What
saying
I'm
this.
saying
It's
is
not
that
showing you love. That's not showing you love. But that does not mean that they did not feel love. People feel
yeah,
love for their children and whoop they ass. But it's not. They don't not love their children. They
mm,
love their children. They want them to be corrected. They don't know what to do no more. And
Hey,
they gonna whoop them to
excuse me,
steer them the right way. Right? You
excuse
got
me, excuse
men
me.
who think that they can do that to women. And we'll sit here
Timothy,
and be like, hell no.
Yeah.
That ain't what
Right.
you
excuse me,
supposed to do.
Timotheus,
but
real
then
quick.
it's also
How can I
women that who
hold on,
feel
my
like him
Timotheus?
beating me shows that he loves me.
How do I share the video or tell people where it's at
Oh, you
to
gotta
find
send
it?
me the link and I can share it.
Okay,
The
I'll
link is
send
in
it
the
to you.
comments already, so they can click the link in the comments.
No, there's somebody outside that outside the group that wants to
Oh
hear it.
yeah, I shared
And
the whole live.
Oh, you talking about share this? Share
The
the YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
in the back
Oh,
chat.
okay. All right. Sorry,
I'll
guys.
post it
Go
in the
ahead.
back chat
Go ahead.
again.
So
Okay,
yeah,
my
But
bad.
it's
Go
yeah,
ahead,
like
like
Timotheus.
that
really
person
quick,
might feel like they love you, but no, they're not showing you love. Yes, that's not showing you love. Yes, everybody should get out of that situation, but you can't
but you
tell that
can't tell
person
the
that they
person
can't that they don't
they
love
don't
you.
love you. You can't tell a person just because that person feels like I love you so much that I would rather take your life than see you with somebody else. You can't tell that person that they don't love
You
them
just
just
said
that
they're
much because
psycho.
they really feel
Right.
that. They really
yeah,
feel like I love you just that much. I can't see you with nobody else. Like,
I
you
hope I
can't
don't.
tell that person that it's not love, even though you know, like, hell no, you controlling as fuck, you crazy as shit. I'm gonna get up out of here. Doesn't mean that that person still does not feel love for you.
Mm,
So,
That's what I mean
so
by the love that you have for somebody is what you feel. It's not what they feel. I can say that you crazy as fuck, but you can honestly, in your heart, pass the motherfucking lie detector test and everything, and say that you truly love me.
oh man, see that's
But I don't feel that. I see that you crazy as shit, and I look at you like you controlling as fuck.
let me know when you're done so I can go.
You're the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like, all right, Shalom family, this is Yashar. Those that don't know me. Um, I don't want to make the statement about uh, how one how won't I feel love, right? How won't I feel that love if a person truly loves me, right? I don't think people truly understand what love is, even though they use the word. For example, right? If I never experienced it, right? I never felt it. Nobody never gave me or showed me love. Yet and still, I feel like I know what it is. I feel like when I get in this relationship, because I use the word and I do things according to my understanding of what love is, that's what it is. Just because I say that that's what it is, that shit don't mean nothing. I don't know what it is because I never experienced it. I never felt it to be able to give it back. So, like, you know what I'm saying? If you think that a person, right, that will tell you that they'll rather kill you than see you with somebody else, and you think that's love, both of y'all got problems.
Nobody said that was
No, you
love, so
taking
that
it the
means that
wrong
you
way.
weren't listening. You
Okay,
weren't
well,
listening to what people
yeah,
were
you're
saying.
absolutely right. I wouldn't listen to nothing nobody was saying. Go
You
ahead.
couldn't have.
Go
You
ahead,
couldn't
Brett.
have been.
Since I wasn't listening, right? You
Yeah,
got
you
time.
couldn't.
Go. But listen, I wasn't listening.
No,
Help
you
me to
weren't.
understand what I didn't hear. Go ahead.
You didn't hear this. What was said was love is an internal feeling. You cannot gauge somebody's love. There is no rubric. There is no you do this and this and this and this and this when you love somebody. There is none of that. How if somebody loves you, that is their own feeling for you. You cannot tell them that they
I
do
don't
not
agree with
have that
that. I
feeling.
heard everything you said. I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's nice. So you think that your feeling for somebody else belongs to somebody else? You don't feel it?
What?
What's the top?
You don't feel your own feeling?
I don't feel my own feelings.
I think what they're trying to say is that
Not there.
love is
Let,
nothing that
let
you
them,
can
bro.
actually
Let them
measure
say
or
it because they
gauge.
told me I didn't understand what they said.
You didn't.
Okay, can we not get on here and be
I'm
hostile?
listening, right?
when I'm
I'm
talking,
listening, and
you
I
just
still
interrupted
don't get it, right? I still don't get it. What are you talking
Oh,
about? Feel what I feel? Like, what do you mean?
okay,
Right.
can we
So
not be on
because
here
love
Why
is
you so
your
hostile?
hype?
feeling
Yeah,
of your
can we not
own.
get
It's your
hostile?
own feeling. So
So
therefore,
now,
if I'm happy, okay, if I am happy, I'm happy. Are you happy? Is Peace happy? Is Alicia happy?
No,
If
we
I'm
playing this
happy, I
topic.
feel happy. And however the fuck way I choose to display my happiness, you can't tell me that I'm not happy because I didn't choose to display my happiness the way you would have.
that ain't got shit to do with what we talking about when we come
Yes,
down to
that's
love.
exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Yeah, all right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You
That's
can't
cool.
tell me that I don't love somebody because I don't display my love the way you do.
I'm just saying, man. It's only one. It's only
Because
one
I
way to
don't
But
love
that's
display my
somebody,
literally what
right?
love.
we're
It's only
saying,
one
Peace.
way.
Okay.
Like
Only
love.
one way to
Love
do
don't hurt.
anything.
Like
But
regardless
why
of what
do
you're
There
we all
is
saying,
have
love
to
does
regardless of
agree?
how
hurt.
you fix it, right?
Love
Regardless of how
does
you
hurt.
word it, right?
No.
Love don't
Love
hurt.
hurt.
Love is the
Love
only
can
love
Right?
is the
hurt.
only way
Love
to
don't hurt.
hurt.
Love
Love is
So
can
the
so
only
hurt.
way
Yes,
so
to
it
hurt.
can.
so
Love is
Yes,
the
it
so
only way
can.
to hurt.
correction
You can't
hurts.
Yes, it
hurt and do
can.
not love.
Correction hurts, right? And you
No,
do, and
hell
you
We
correct
no.
people out of
cannot
love,
agree.
right?
Love
So
can
it's a
definitely
difference.
hurt.
No, love can hurt.
Yes,
How can
it.
love hurt you mentally?
If somebody
What do
breaks
you
your
What?
heart,
mean?
I'm
if somebody
asking a
breaks
question.
your
If
How
heart,
can
you
love
love
hurt you
somebody
mentally?
but they don't love you and they break your heart, was that not painful? Was that
What?
not love hurting you?
Yes,
No,
it
that
was.
wasn't love because love didn't love you. What are you talking about? You just said
If
the dude
you,
didn't
I
love
said,
you.
if
If the
you love
dude didn't love you,
someone but
Time
they
out.
don't love
in other
you,
words, because you love that dude, he's supposed to love you. Is that what you're saying?
Calm down.
What?
no,
No,
no.
you're not proving our
What?
point.
See,
You're
so now,
literally proving
that
the
a
point
man
that
is
we're
on here
trying
to
to
act,
say.
so now that a man is on here to ask y'all questions because I clearly didn't get it, right? And I still don't get what y'all saying. Y'all still not gonna.
May
But you
I?
still talking.
I'm trying. May I offer something like
Do we all have to agree?
let me
I
try
think
to give
okay.
let me try to
No,
tell you what
no.
they're saying. Let me
Love
try to
really
explain.
hurts.
Okay, like all right. So everybody has different threshold for pain, right? So if your wife is in pain or your husband's in pain, this is I'm making general. You know what pain feels like, right? But you may not know how intense they are feeling that pain because you're not in their body. So what they're saying is I could love you, but I may not be affectionate. I may not show you like what you think I should show you that shows love, but I'm doing what I think is love, which is probably maybe like I don't know, if I'm not affectionate, maybe
You
I'm
know,
maybe I'm doing what I feel like I should do, you
It's why
know.
they have what they call the love languages.
and
Yeah,
okay,
so
That's where
that's
love languages
so
come
that's
Hold
what
in
on,
they're
at.
hold
saying.
on.
Hold on, wait, because
Let's
I
get,
wasn't done. I let everybody else
you,
talk.
you're doing a terrible job at allowing me to dislike you.
What I'm saying is that
Just can't.
you know, I could tell you that I love you, but there's no way for you to feel exactly how I feel because you're not in my body. So that's what they're saying. They're not saying that
We're not
unhealthy
supposed to
love.
try and feel what
Hold
you
on,
feel.
wait a
Like,
minute, Yashar.
Stop trying to
I
debate it.
need you to listen to what I'm trying to explain so you understand, okay?
I'm listening to you.
Okay,
Man,
I
okay.
didn't cut
So
you off. I just added to what you just said.
I know, I understand, but what I'm saying is
understand.
There we go, man.
no,
We
I'm
go.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying I understand. So basically, if you're not in somebody's body, you don't know what their pain feels like, even though you've had pain and you know what that pain feels like, but you don't know how bad it feels. So that's what they're saying. And then on top of that, some people have a negative connotation with what love is. Like they were saying, they might love you so much to the point they want to kill you because they don't want to see you with somebody else. I don't really like that word love. I would say more like obsession or control. But if we're gonna roll with that, that basically means like that's their idea of love. They're obsessive and they're controlling. So that they consider that love. And you can't tell them that that's not love because that's all they know.
And
So
Does
that's what
that
they
make
feel.
sense?
so me, right, having a way better understanding, I'm supposed to just be cool with that type of shit. Like me being in a relationship with a person like what you're talking about, right? I'm telling them, I'm communicating to them that ain't love. That's not how you love me. I
Yes,
tell
that's
them,
right.
listen, fam, listen, right?
What the
I'm
fuck is that?
communicating. I'm te- I'm communicating. I'm telling them, right? That's not how you love me, right? Like you saying that because this is what you consider to be love. I'm telling you that ain't love. So now I'm supposed to accept it because this is what you only know.
Nobody
Is
No,
that
said
what
that's
I'm
No,
not
we
what
hearing?
I'm
never
saying.
said
So what?
that.
Yashar, we said
Man,
nobody
what the
said
man?
accept
This
it.
shit is
It
Nobody
was
absolutely
said
No one
insane, man.
said
Do
you
y'all
got
know
to
what y'all
Yashar,
accept
saying?
it.
nobody said it was acceptable. Nobody said accept
Oh,
it.
but that's
Nobody
love
said you're
though.
supposed to
That's
take
love
it.
though, according to the
Yes,
individual. That's
we're
bullshit,
saying
bro. That ain't love, man.
yes.
but
Nah,
Yashar, you
Listen,
nah,
understand like
Yashar,
nah,
you're
more
not
than just
nah,
listening.
the
You're
nah.
more
talking,
than
you're
You're
just
just
not
trying to
listen,
listening.
argue the
more
point.
than
And this is
being
what we
Yeah,
be
part of
talking
yeah.
the
That's
about.
all.
Listening to
That's all. I'm
shit.
just trying to argue a
the thing
point.
is like here's the
Absolutely.
thing.
Now
Wait a minute.
think of
Wait a
it. Think of it this
wait a
way.
minute. Wait a minute.
I'm gonna
We're
use the
not
more
trying
neutral
to
language.
tell
Trying to
you.
argue with y'all women.
We're not
Hang on.
trying to.
Wrong
Then
with
what
y'all?
did you
Hang
get
on.
on here for?
Let me
So
give
what
it
you
a.
get on the thing
Let
To
me
for?
give it.
argue,
Stop
I
it.
got
to
on here.
Sir,
argue,
anybody.
I got on
argue
here
with
because
women.
it was time to
Sir,
open up the panel. And
sir.
so
Hang
because I
on.
asked the
Soon as
question
you
and I
came
We
don't
in,
only
agree
you
opened
with
up
on.
the
what
I'm
y'all
panel
trying.
women
because
are
I was
talking about, now I'm
arguing
here
with
to
Start
somebody.
argue.
yelling. I'm gonna
Like
start muting
I'm gonna
people.
mute out and we're gonna see about the arguing. What y'all talking about?
arguing.
I don't understand that. We're not telling men or anyone to accept anything. I'm trying to explain that what the point they were making is that even though you love somebody, you can't feel what they feel because you're not in their shoes, and that's where communication comes in. That's where you know, maybe you do activities to build your bond, you know, to
My
connect with
bad.
person. It doesn't mean that you have to accept anything. If you don't feel like that's love, then you can walk away from that person. But
Can I
that
give a
doesn't mean
candid
that they don't
example?
love
Can
you.
I give a more candid example?
Sure.
A more candid example would be like, uh, I don't like that fucking that kind of rap music. I think that shit is trash. But motherfuckers is telling me like, nigga, you just a hater, nigga. That shit is hard. Like, but I'm like, no, I don't accept that. but I can't tell them that it's not dope. There's nothing I can say to them that's gonna convince them that shit is not dope ass music, and I'm just a hater. That's basically like what they're saying, is that one person can believe, like the example we used earlier. Some people have never even seen love to know what it is. So what they do is they define it for themselves. And so if they define it in a way that isn't acceptable to another person, you don't have to accept it. You can say, hey, I don't like this. You know, this is not how love is. And you can get the fuck on. But that person is still gonna believe in their heart of hearts that I don't give a fuck what you say. This is what love is because this is how I define it myself. And that's just what
Good
it
job, Timothy. Yes, that's exactly what
Mhm.
we said. That was great.
is. And that's just how it is.
Now
You
try
know?
to argue that.
Next topic.
Ooh.
Move on.
Bruh.
We're gonna give this about another 15, 20 minutes or so, because I know it's 11 o'clock for Tiff.
So Timothy, is basically what you said is basically, regardless of what people think, anybody can think whatever they want to think, and whatever they think is love to them, right?
To them individually, yes. Not
right. So
not
basically,
what it is factually.
basically, there is no foundation according to this panel, right? There's no foundation to
Don't
what
say
we call.
panel because I didn't
Man, what
agree
the?
with this.
No.
Hang
All
on.
right, my bad. According to the 3 or 4 ladies that did speak up on what they call love, right? What they say love is, right? According
No,
to
we never spoke on what we
individuals,
thought love was.
there's no foundation to the word. There's
Never
nothing
said what
that
love
you.
is.
So then, man, what the? You know what? You're right.
We're
Y'all never
trying to
said
let you
nothing.
know that we
Y'all never
didn't
said
say
nothing, right? Y'all never
we
said
never
nothing
gave
about
the
nothing,
definition of what
and
we thought
everything.
love
We just
Never
was.
supposed to
defined
accept what love.
love.
Man, I get it. I ain't even tripping. Y'all do y'all shit.
Now, Yashar, the foundation of love is of how you're implying is the connotation that all of us believe is that love is, this beautiful, positive thing. But again, if a person, like we spoke on earlier, never had love defined to them and they defined it themselves, then however they defined it for themselves will be what they believe to be good. It may not be good to everybody, but for them, yes, that'll be they create their own. We all create our own realities. So if this person believes in their heart of hearts, how they define love is based on how they define it because they never experienced it for real, or in a, I won't say for real, in a different way, then their way would be the only way until they accept or try to accept it in a different way. Like just like the analogy with me talking about that music, that hippity boopity woo. I could actually sit down and listen to it and give it a chance. And I may be like, okay, this shit is not that bad. But that's not what I'm on. I'm like, fuck that. I like what I like, and that shit is terrible. You see what I'm saying?
And you know what else,
That's
Timothy,
me
is?
creating my own reality and not allowing myself to expand and grow.
Right. And one other thing to that, sometimes it's not always the big things. Sometimes just little things that you do special for somebody, that means a lot. When you go out the way, you do something nice, you do something special for your partner, and and it's appreciated.
That's what we was defining as showing care, that you care for them. So you
Huh?
do certain things. I said that's what we was trying to define it as when we said when you care for somebody, you do certain things to show that you care for them. Those certain
Right.
things
Right.
are also how we identify how much you love us. Oh, he did this for me. He
Right.
did that for me. He was there for me at this point. He was there for me at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how people define how much their partner
Love.
loves them off of how
It's
they are.
this.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's not pretend that there aren't some women that have that sixth state of mind that honestly believes a man does not love her if he doesn't put his hands on it. There are some women that are like
I
that.
said that. I said that
Right.
when I brought up the point of when I brought up the point of that it's men out here that are so they love you so much that they'd kill you because they don't want to see you with somebody else. I said there's also women out here that feel like he don't love me if he ain't beat my ass. I didn't shot from that. It is true. It's women out here that like
Can
if that
hurt.
nigga ain't punch me once or twice, he don't love me. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, and I'm not saying that is love, and I'm not saying that I believe that that's how love is supposed to be, but it is women that are like that. And you can't tell that
Hey,
woman that
I,
he don't love her. You feel me? And you can't tell that woman she doesn't love him just because he's beating her ass. Even though you know that
real
that's sick and twisted. You
quick
can't tell her she
question,
don't love him.
Timotheus.
Yeah.
Timotheus, do I need to leave the call so that you can get other people in? Because I know you can only get so many people.
Yeah, only 10 at a time, but no one else has
Okay,
popped in so far.
okay. If someone does, let me know and I'll back out so someone else can get on and participate.
Okay.
All right. Or just send me, or just
running.
But like I said,
no. I
I'm
want
just
this.
playing, Paul. I'm just playing.
No, I want to be fair about this and let the guys come in and whatever, let you ladies have it. And I'm listening though, I'm listening. And Timothy, my phone's slow, so if you need to, go ahead and boot me off to let somebody else in. I
okay.
won't be mad at you.
Okay.
You know how that thought process is problematic, especially for us as men, immature ass men that can't understand and control their emotions, right? The problem becomes where silly ass niggas that hear women saying this shit and be like, oh, I'm green. Now they gonna try and use this shit against y'all. Like, you don't understand the power of words that y'all use when y'all say the things that y'all say for real. You understand what I'm saying? It's like
But
if you're
I'm
trying to
saying
correct, like,
Let me finish.
y'all got it.
No, Yashar, go ahead, bro. We're trying
look,
to
bro, look. It's like this, man. I didn't come on here for none of that, right? I came on here to communicate with the women about things that I understand as a man that is not cool to hear, right? That's why I said what I said, and it's like, no, this is what it is, and this is what it is. This is love. It's babies that's listening to this, baby girls that's listening to this, silly ass males that's listening to this, and that's gonna use this type of shit to their advantage. But because this is freedom of speech, and this is the individual's persons of.
No, I wouldn't
Y'all got it, bro.
him. Come after me.
Okay, well, I'll talk after you, Denise.
Okay, how about this? All right.
We waiting on Yashar. We already got the order.
Yashar muted out because he's getting frustrated because
I'm going after Young Lioness.
But to your point, Yashar, what you're saying, you're absolutely right. Is that there is a broad audience. This is going out into the internet ether, and we absolutely did condemn that behavior. The whole time we said, there are people that are sick that think this way. There are some people that do this because they believe it's that. We never did we say it was all right. Never did we say that we agreed with it.
Right. Nothing. It was never given a stamp of approval from anyone on this call. That was never given a stamp of approval. It was
That's
just
all me and Denise kept trying to say.
So if I understood what I heard a certain particular type of way, I'm the only person on the planet that did this, right? That's gonna do that, have that thought process by listening to what y'all said, right?
No.
Exactly my point. So now when I came on, right, and I started to give my opinion and give my disagreement with what I heard, then it's the backlash to supporting the fact that it's okay for that they actually do it anyway, whether it's okay or not, because according to their understanding, that's love, right?
Okay.
It's no.
Is he done? Can I go now?
Hold on. I want to respond. I wanted to
responding? We have a whole line.
Yeah, we got an order, Paul. We got an order.
Okay. All right. I apologize. Y'all go ahead. All right.
So yeah, Yashar, all we were saying was that you can't tell that person that it's not love, right? Because they have this feeling, and the feeling is to them it's love. What you could tell them is that that's not healthy, that's not right. It's dangerous. It's all of that shit and how they display it. And they have to find a different way to display this and to show how they feel because how they're showing it is wrong. But what you can't do is be like, nah, nah, nah. You don't love that person because you're never going to get to somebody by telling them that. But what you can do, yeah, that is wrong. You don't love somebody by controlling them. You don't love somebody by not trusting them. You don't love somebody by beating them. You don't love somebody by killing them. You let them know that that behavior is not showing love, even though that they believe that that's what it is. No, 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 that's not the right behavior. We need to change your behavior, change the way you do it. Like that's what we're saying. Like, but to tell to that person that they don't love them, they not no, they know for sure that that's the feeling they got. Even though we
Right.
looking like your actions are not, that's not the actions. No, that's not what you need to be doing.
I appreciate that, Denise. Thank you.
Okay, and what I wanted to add on was that I feel like you taking it as if we are trying to argue, like give a compelling argument, like on their side, as if like we're saying it's okay. And multiple people have already said this, but I just want to say it again so you can hear it clearly. I guess we are not saying that it is okay. We are not saying that we believe this is how love is supposed to be, or we are not saying that we will tolerate this or we will accept that. But what we're saying is that the whole point of this was us saying that you can't feel the love. Someone else cannot feel the love that you have for them. So I made the statement of saying that there's people out here that will love you so hard that they can't see you with somebody else and they want to kill you, or they would. It has happened. And you still can't tell that person. They have went to jail for it, served life sentences, whatever. If you go back to that person right now and ask them, they will still say the same thing, that they love that person. And you can't tell them that it wasn't love that they felt. I'm not saying that it's right, and the way that they went about it was okay because they felt like they felt love, but you can't tell them that it's not. In their mind, in their body, in their soul, that they feel like they love you to fucking death, literally. So you can't go back and tell a person that they don't. Some people have different ways of expressing it. Some people have different ways of receiving it. And the whole point of me making that one, I feel like at this point it was the worst example because it became a real big ass argument for nothing. But it's so many different examples that I could give on how a person could really deeply in their heart love the shit out of you, but you don't feel that or you don't see that. You feel me? You could be getting a whole different vibe from them. Like a motherfucker could love you so much that they be stalking you damn near. Like that you see me, they see you everywhere they go. They just try in their eyes, they just try to make sure you good. But in your eyes, it's like, but you stalking me. Like I see you on my street all the time. Everywhere I go, you're around. Like it's,
Yeah.
but in their heart, they really feel like they love you, and they just want to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
That's just how
And,
they think. I'm not saying it's okay though, because on the other end, that person could really be terrified as fuck, could really be scared as shit, could really be thinking that you trying to kill me or something. But in your eyes, I just love you and want to make sure you're okay.
and
That's
that
all
love
Wait,
I'm
wait,
saying.
Paul. I'm
and it,
sorry. I said I was gonna go after her. I don't know if you heard
okay,
me.
go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Um, I wanted to say add on to that too because there are dysfunctional love languages and dysfunctional thought patterns on what love is. Um, I think the most important thing that we can do for our youth is to teach them what love is for themselves. Like you show yourself love and show them healthy examples of love with ourselves, with our family, our friends, our spouses, and our friends. From my understanding, we were never asked to define love. I think the question was somewhere along the lines of how important is love in relationships. I didn't really get to hear it because my phone was cutting out. But I want to again stress the importance of every time I have a conversation about relationships, I am always 100% focused on. I always use word like healthy Healthy relationships, I always use terms like dysfunctional when I'm describing something that is not positive. Um, and I think that's important to understand that as human beings, we there are different ranges of emotions, and saying that, telling someone who has a dysfunctional idea of what love is, that you can't tell them any difference. Again, that's why I said that they're doing what they perceive is love, but we know it is not healthy. And I think that's why going to therapy, dealing with your traumas, is very, 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 very important, because you will find yourself in situations with individuals who exhibit those behaviors, and you'll find yourself in a dysfunctional relationship. So I don't think any woman or man that has been talking for the last 2.5 hours is condoning any kind of relationship where someone could be harmed in any kind of way, whether that's physical or mental. And I think the way you heard it and the way they were talking, it was getting misconstrued. So I just want you to understand that we never defined love what it was. I think they were talking about like the trying to display, or someone else feeling what that person feels inside, and then that somehow got on another tangent. But
Right,
yes, we
right.
always want to promote healthy relationships. That's why we're having this conversation. We're having this conversation so that we can bridge the gap. And if we come in, and I know we're all passionate about what we're talking about, but if we come in with contention and, just wild statements, then we're not going to get anywhere. We want to make sure we understand each other, and we don't take things out of context. And if we don't understand, let's ask questions so that it doesn't get to this point.
Yeah.
And I
And the
yield the
only
floor to my brother Paul.
okay, and the only thing, since you guys said everything so well, the only thing I can add is that at times love can be so misconstrued that it becomes an obsession. An obsession can be dangerous. So I'll leave it with that because you guys basically covered everything else. So I have nothing else to add actually now.
Okay, Deshar, do you have a better thought process on what we were trying to explain with the comment that I made on you can't feel your partner can't feel the love you have? Do you have a better understanding?
Paul, somebody trying to come in. You said you'd volunteer to back out.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Where I'm at, I'm I'm gonna just, what I'm saying, I'm gonna just understand where y'all at this point. That's just it. Like I said, I appreciate what she said because I didn't initially hear that conversation. Right? Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear any of that. It's like clarification. But for those that don't have the clarification, that just hear what you're saying, not understanding what you're saying, but just hearing what you're saying. Because for one, because I don't talk to ladies every single day personally, like I only talk to my wife, it's hard for me to understand where you're coming from when you say what you say. So if I come in and I ask a question and you just saying, oh, well, we said this and we said that, then that's not helping me in no way, fashion, or form. Thus, I came with the question. So it shouldn't be a problem to just rehash what you said, you know what I'm saying? Make it short and sweet, get to the point so I can get it. That's how I feel about it. But at the same time, I appreciate what all you ladies said, to clarify what I didn't hear, what I didn't understand. So I appreciate it.
Oh shit.
Oh, it's Neo. Motherfucking
Right.
love.
Motherfucking love. But yeah, so do we have another topic?
Neo probably got a question.
I gotta get on y'all butts a little bit.
Do you have a question for the ladies, Neo?
Yeah, I wanted to say good show, ladies. Y'all did a good job. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and the question about changing for your man and he's uncomfortable about stuff. I noticed Peace was the only one that said that she was willing to do that. She didn't put any stipulations on it or anything else, and everybody else kind of like put a whole bunch of stipulations on it, like basically I'm not gonna do that. And I just wanted to say
I'm gonna speak after Neo.
I just wanted to say good job, Peace. I think these ladies can learn some stuff from you, and I want to know from the ladies why is that so hard? I mean, unless he
Okay, so
most of the panel
to
said that they
answer,
would.
yeah, I would say so. Neo, to answer your question, you might not have heard the rest of the ladies clearly or whatever, or you might only heard the adding to of what they were saying, but most of the women did say they would change or tweak something, but it would have to be understanding of what it was and why they would be changing it. And I definitely said from a husband's standpoint, if that's my husband, I have no problem changing anything for my husband because we we are we are standing for one another. Like when they see one, they see both. You know what I'm saying? So I never said that I wouldn't do that. And I said from a boyfriend standpoint, if you not changing for me, I'm not changing for you, and that's just how the fuck it is. That was my exact words to that. So from what you're
Yeah,
saying,
I
that's not
stand
actually true.
corrected. I do remember you saying that, so I do apologize, Chocolate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's
Denise, did
about to
you
hit
have
the damn
anything else to
3 hour
say?
mark. So I just want to thank everybody that came on and participated. It was it was amazing to let everybody voices be heard. Everyone had wonderful opinions. I'm glad it went the way that it do. Look forward to it, ladies. Get ready. Have y'all questions ready because me and Paul said we want to do a flip one. We want to have a panel full of the men and let the women ask questions. So
Yeah, I got a few.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
gonna ask a whole bunch of questions. That's
Okay.
for sure.
And I'm
So
getting to the
get
nitty
ready
gritty.
for Lindsay because she's coming.
Right.
Okay. Young Lion is about
Well,
to say
thank
ask
you,
you too.
Timothy. Is
We're gonna have to do a
I had a
part
great
two too.
time.
Yeah,
Thank
to
you
this.
Sorry
for
for the
allowing us on
interruption.
your platform.
Yeah,
Thank you all. I appreciate
that's
everyone for
good.
coming up
Ladies
and
table
watching.
talk.
Be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell, baby. I got to do the YouTube stuff.
You already know. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Right. So, all right, everybody.
All
Thank you
right.
again. And
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye, y'all. Bye bye, y'all.
Adios.